let's see how we can help you advertise on all our platforms. I'm glad to let you know that our digital platforms is the #1 in the country. Our traditional media platforms is #1 in the country. So you are at the right place. Media General is where you can get everything. Now, UMB is doing this with us. We are saying that if you have an account with UMB, let's do this together. So it's UMB TV3 giving you a 20% discount. 20% discount. I mean, this doesn't come easy. My team at UMB Marketing will tell you that it's not easy to advertise. Advertising is very expensive. So for coming to this seminar, for being a part of the UNB and the Media General partnership, you're going to get a 20% discount. The ladies and the gentlemen out there are going to come to you, talk to you, take your contact and business details, and let's do this. This offer lasts for 3 months. So for the next quarter, you have time to go organize yourself, get some money, and no matter how small, we are here to grow with you. No matter how small your budget is, don't be worried. Come to us, let's talk, and I'm sure by the end of this 3 months, we will have a very beautiful story that UN partnership with Media General has helped so many businesses see the light of advertising and are doing better business. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Let's give it up again for Lily Mockley. Thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together for her again. And if you all heard, it is 20% discount on advertisements. One of the challenges that we know that encounters the SMEs in our market, and especially in Ghana, is access to markets. You know, you have your trades, you apply your goods and everything. How to even get access, people to buy your goods is a challenge. So if you have a medium like what TV3 is offering us at a discount, you get 20% off no matter the size of your business. They will do it for you. So our distinguished customers here like Glasgow can take advantage of that. So please, let's make sure we sign on to this product. Let's put our hands together for TV3 again. Thank you.
Thank you, Bismarck, and thank you very much, Lily Mockley, who will take advantage of the packages. At this point, we are delving into the financial literacy and capacity building. And as a bank, we call ourselves honored and privileged to be dishing out to you our financial packages over the last 2 years that we've been in existence. And I believe that every customer in our enclave anywhere, you would find somebody somewhere, some other, who has been birthed with UMB from day one. And we believe that we owe it a responsibility to educate our customers, our family, friends, and loved ones in making the best of financial decisions. Whilst we delve into the financial literacy and capacity building, I'm honored to introduce to us our speaker for this morning. She's in the person of Gifty Apia. She's an Associate Director of Tax Services. And I'd like to delve into a bit into experience. Gifty serves both on public and private sector clients across industries. Over the years, Gifty has also provided assistance in the area of tax compliance and consultant services by advising various clients on the tax impact of their future or fast transactions. She has led engagements on tax disputes resolution for entities of various sizes and complexities by leading negotiations, providing technical opinion on matters, and coordinating the contributions of various stakeholders on issues raised by Ghana Revenue Authority. Her experience includes conducting tax health checks and due diligence engagements, providing advisory services on the structuring of transactions and deals, assisting clients on GRA audit, offering tax provisioning services for the financial statement reporting, making tax plans, as well as leading projects on tax controversy management. Gifty has 2 years of experience in providing tax compliance and provisioning services to United States-based publicly listed clients, including those in the trading and services sectors, where she advised on efficient ways of complying with tax laws and meeting the tax accounting reporting requirements. She is a regular facilitator on tax topics on PwC Business School and has been involved in various speaking engagements and publications, such as Tax Facts and Figures and the Budget Digest. As part of her relevant qualifications, she holds a Master's in Business Admin, University of North Carolina, Tax Executive Education Certificate, University of Southern Carolina, member, Chartered Institute of Taxation Ghana, fellow, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants UK, member, Institute of Chartered Ghana, ICGA, and she has a BS Admin in Accounting option for University of Ghana. Whilst I have the honors of inviting Kefti Apia to our podium, I'll take the honors to mention who our sponsors are for this morning again. We have PwC Alisa Hotel, Mawako Restaurant, Pomisa Glasgow Enterprise, Media General, who we mentioned are streaming live and current. We have Pan-African TV, also known as Obasma. At this point, I have the honors and singular privilege to invite you, Kefti Apia, to our podium. Thank you.
Thank you and good morning. That was a very long introduction. I wasn't expecting it, but I want to settle your minds before we start. It's not all about taxes this morning, please. I know people don't like taxes. I want you to like me. So tax will come in because that's my specialty, but that's not the entire focus. So to start, I think I'm always excited to be on such platforms with some focus on women because I can relate, and also because I'm talking about no more topic than financial literacy because everybody likes money. So I feel like you will listen to me. And so entrepreneurs as well are great solvers of problems. That's what you do, right? So the hope is that we'll be able to merge these competencies of being problem solvers and liking money to be able to manage our finances and move our businesses to the next level. So please bear with me and stay with me for the next stretch of give or take like an hour. So are we okay with is the lighting going to? Oh, we are okay. Okay, let me just move on. So we would delve into anything finance you can think about. I mean, budgeting, investment, borrowing, taxation, financial record keeping. It's supposed to give you a sneak peek of the financial world, and it's just a small flavor of it. So once we are out of here and you want more details, we can talk about it. So we'll start with budgeting, right? And budgeting, as we see it, is just your plan, your business plan in numbers. It's telling you what the future looks like. If what you have in mind or what you are doing is viable, is sustainable, or is a mere fantasy. And so when I think of budgets, we have different levels. We have the national budget. That's how come we can tell as a nation that we are in trouble, right? Because you can see the numbers in your face. And we expect to have that very soon, like in November, where we hear the national budget. Beyond that, we also have for businesses like yourselves, where you have your business budget. We have household budgets. We have individual budgets. And so it's critical that we plan for the future. Now, I remember some years back, some decades ago, when I joined PwC, that's a joke, many years ago when I joined PwC, I remember my salary so well. It was 333 Ghana cedi. Mind you, that was a lot of money, by the way. But before I left Sakradi to come to PwC, my parents sat me down and said, you know what, this is your income. What are the expenses we expect? Feeding, transportation. So we went through that, and at the end of the day, there was a deficit. There's a shortage, so they have to continue supporting me. We can align that strictly into akin to sort of borrowing. Please go to the slide before. So we can align that akin to borrowing for businesses and entrepreneurs like yourself, because it's telling you what the future looks like. It's telling you if you need some support in terms of borrowing, or if you have enough to maybe invest. And so if you look at budgeting, it's supposed to be beyond giving you a blueprint to follow, it's also supposed to sort of help you manage some shocks. Because once you've drawn, it's supposed to be a living document. As you go ahead, you update it. And so if there's anything that is shaky in the economy, if the interest rates have increased, you'll be able to plug that in to see if you are still on track or not. So something like me, for my case, I knew from upfront that I could not afford accommodation rental in Accra at that time, right? So we had to make alternate arrangements. So that's just budgeting for you. Now, we want to put budget in numbers. And for those who are used to accounts and financial statements, this is a very familiar statement. It's telling you that this is what you expect. You expect 12,000. The only difference in budgeting against a financial statement is that it's future-looking, it's forward-looking. It's not historic like a financial statement. So this will tell you everything. It tells you expenses that you expect to spend is about 10,000. Now your profit is about 2,000 and a markup of 19,000. I want to draw attention to the 19%, which is your markup, because that is supposed to give you an idea of the kind of value you will create from your business. So I expect that when I put in a 10,000, I'll get a 12K back. And that is the profit to me, because everybody, regardless of what you do in your business, the money is necessary. It's one of the core reasons why you are in, right? So people might have various reasons. I mean, it might be other non-financial, maybe family legacy, maybe trying the pride of ownership, right? But at the end of the day, the money is also equally important. So our focus is financial. So for those 19%, as a business owner, your question is that the most prudent way or the optimal way of putting your money? And I want us to be very open-minded, because some people feel stuck in a decision because you don't want to let go. You're already in. But it's to ask yourself, is this the time to rethink, to expand my product? UMB has already talked about they have opportunities for you to help expand your businesses. So they are ready to partner with you. Now, it's the question for you. Is this story telling me that is that the best way to put my money? Are there other ways I can invest that I can get more value out of this than I currently have? So what makes a budget effective? I think we've talked about a number of them already. But one main thing also is that even when you are going for, you are sourcing funds, they want to have an idea of where you are at and how the future looks like for you. So it's always a good way to tell your story by numbers. Now, one key part as well is you should be able to have a very strong background data or information, because as we say, garbage in, garbage out. So you need to have a way to estimate things even when things are not very clear. Now, I have a friend in agriculture who tells me that, before I went into it blindly because there was no data. This was the first time he didn't know how to budget for things. So talk to people already in the industry. If you do not have the answer, do your best estimations and be updating it as you go along. But that is very critical, so that you have it will always tell you what's the true story on the ground is like. So now we'll talk about investment. When we're talking about budget, I said that normally at the end of the day, you would know if you need support or if you need to, you have surplus to invest. So in cases where you have some surplus, and I want to even before that sort of have a mindset shift that investment doesn't only come in when you have surplus. Sometimes you incur costs. So I'm trying to remember an author. I read a book that talked about somebody who made a multi-million dollars by starting with nothing, right? Because they gathered money from friends and family or borrowed into real estate. And by the time they notice, they refinance, and then they are billionaires. So it's just a mindset, it's a culture thing. So have a mindset of investment. And for you entrepreneurs, I think one plus I can give already to you is that you're already investing. You are giving your money and your time into a business you believe in. So you want that to pay off at the end of the time. So have that investment mindset and always find a way to be able to diversify if need be in your investment drive. Now the other is have a plan. Before you do the investment, and I'm talking about investment for you as an entrepreneur and also as even other investment assets that you go into. Have a plan. What's the objective? What's the end goal? You don't invest just because the money is there. So you go into the next available investment opportunity. But evaluate things well and see what is the time and what time do I need this thing to crystallize. And then you'll be able to make the right decisions. Now, the key thing, we talked about the 19%, and that comes back into the return on investment. Because the return is what is most important. And before you go and invest in anything, please, somebody will say, check your level. Check your temperature in terms of how aggressive or conservative you are as a person. So I am conservative, so I won't go into cryptocurrencies, not because it doesn't end, just because I don't understand it well enough to put my money in. So make sure that you understand what you are going into. And beyond that as well, you want to know, beyond willingness, is that you have the capacity to do it. As a business, sometimes, depending on what you are into, I know some of you may be into retailing. Now, when the economy shook us a little bit, we all knew what happened, right? At that time, everybody is looking for their emergency fund. So that might not be the right time to invest, because when you go the next time and inventory costs have increased, you need to find money to shore up that gap. So you have to have that in mind, even as you go into investment as a business. It's about what's the timeline, because mind you, investment is different from savings. Investment is long term. So it's not the case that when the economy shakes more, you are scared. Because when you invest in things like stocks, it's cyclical. Every economy is cyclical. So when it goes down, it's a way to grasp on the things that are at their lowest level and for it to grow with you. So have that in mind, that investment is long term, and be able to be willing to take the risk or the rewards that come from it, depending on the level of risk you want to take. Now, diversification. So sometimes you can only afford one business at this point, and you will not be able to invest in something else. But where you can, or where there's opportunity or something to invest in, you would want to make sure that you diversify your investments as much as possible, so that one shock will not knock off every single asset of investment that you have. And so let's say you are somebody who is into, let's say, men's fashion. Now, over time, you see that men, if they have their 3 dresses or 3 up and down for work, they are okay. So now you think about, now I have to diversify my target market, right? Let me go to the ladies, because we like to change every day. So let's go into it and see what else we can add on. So I expand to ladies, and then yes, ladies are buying my stuff. Then it comes to a point where, they've settled, you have people going into, they have other priorities. Think about it. If your market is shrinking, you innovate. That's where we are. You go to kids. Because now kids, you have to change their dresses every 6 months, right? They are growing. Everybody wants their kids to look great. So you expand in the sense that your target market to be expanding can diversify, both within and without your current business. And then, of course, active, passive. If you talk about active investment, that is what most of the people are doing. For entrepreneurs, you are mostly investing your own time and effort and money. Passive is where you relax, and everybody should aim at this at retirement. Because when you're there, you don't have the strength to work. All you know is that your money is working for you, and you can get something out of it. So with that, I think we would also talk briefly about borrowing. And borrowing is when you don't have enough, and you need some support. Now, one thing I also want to disabuse our minds of is that when you talk about borrowing, it's not a bad thing. There's something I learned back in economics, if I remember my econs right. There's a level that your business can grow, there's a curve. It can grow up to an optimal level, and then from then, any add-on, you can diminish your returns. So look at that. Even as a business, you mature to a point. Once you get there, and that is the same thing, once you get there, it will start dropping. So if we talk about that same concept in borrowing, it's also believed that there's a level of leverage. That means you keep pushing in your borrowings, and then you can see it increasing. That would just mean that the value you are getting out of that loan is more than the cost you are paying for that loan. So as much as you can make that proof or settle that principle, you are good. You can actually go for money. And once you get to that optimal point, you know that enough is enough. So let's know our business, about knowing your business in and out, and then studying the economy to see when it's best to introduce funds. Now, for you to have it, I always say this, that make sure you have the need for the money. Is this the timing? Is this the right timing to get the funds? Do you really need the money? Because I've come across, I had a client that went for money, for loans. And then at a point, he thought he didn't need it anymore, so he wanted to terminate. Now, the termination cost was so high that he decided to rather bear the interest cost for some time at least. And then the money was there. He was now thinking about what to do with it. So please know your business. Know how much do you need. That's all planning and budgeting before you go for those borrowings. Know the cost to you. Know terms and conditions. And this one, I speak for both the givers of the way and the givers of the funds and the recipients. In our room, for the entrepreneurs and UMB, everybody wants to know terms and conditions. Let's not blame each other at some point, right? So please, entrepreneurs, when you are taking it, know the terms. So is it fixed or variable? Is it something that I can early terminate? Is it something that my income can support? So it always baffles me when people don't earn dollars, or you don't trade in dollars and you borrow in dollars. Because when the economy was almost crashing, when the economy was almost there, people were screaming because they are earning cedis and they have to pay dollar loans. So please know yourselves, and then let's gauge by it. And in the same way I come to the borrowers really want you to, or the lenders want you to know the terms and conditions so that we don't fight tomorrow. So please know it. Have your schedule handy when they give you those loans or the loan schedules. Know what is happening so that refinancing is always an option. When the economy gets better and you can have better options of financing, you refinance, because everybody wants money at the end of the day. So with that, we'll go to taxation. That's my area. So pardon me if I become a bit biased, but I'll try to neutralize things. So there are three main types of taxes. We have the income taxes, and income taxes have to do with any kind of tax that's progressive. So the more you earn, the more you pay. It's just fair that the rich takes care of the poor. So the government is saying that, you know what, if you have some kind of, you earn income, the more you earn, the more you pay. Transaction taxes, for example, the ones we are very used to are VAT and the levies. These ones have nothing to do with what you earn. If I'm bold enough to enter, let's say, Marina Mall with Bill Gates or whoever it is, and I pick a can of milk, we pay the same tax because I'm bold enough to consume the same thing with him. So that is transaction taxes. It has nothing to do with how much you earn, but it's about your transaction and then your consumption. And then, of course, we have the international taxes. So we would, for us as SMEs, I think the main focus would be these four that I've boldened for us to quickly talk through. So we'll talk about corporate income taxes. Now, corporate income taxes is just, as a business, when you do your end of year account and everything, you have a bottom line, how much you've earned, right? And then from that, it says that, okay, you have earned something, but as a government, we have to run this nation. We are giving you infrastructure, we are helping with some utilities to some point. So when you earn money, give us a portion of it. That's corporate income taxes. So if ideally you don't earn profits, ideally you shouldn't pay anyway. Things have changed a bit, but that's the general concept. Now, for those who are used to the normal statement of accounts, the left-hand side thing would be quite familiar. It's just your normal income statement. And what tax is saying, or what corporate taxes is talking about, is that once you get your net profit, it's saying that there are some adjustments you might have to make because the financial accountant has drawn something. But me, as a taxman or as a government, I don't really believe in how some of the expenses are taken. So I will vary some of these, and those include, let's say, entertainment, because it's assumed that if UMB entertains its staff, there's some kind of personal benefit to it. You can't strictly talk about business in nature, in a strict extent. So it says, I won't allow you that. So there are a few of those ones. If you have assets, the accountant will do something in terms of spread it. The taxman has his own way of spreading, which is different. So you make those adjustments. And when you get your final answer, that's, let's call it your tax profit, you apply a rate to it and pay your taxes. The general tax rate for your kind of businesses generally is 25% for corporate businesses. So you do that, and then you have your tax that you have to pay. Now, if you have any other taxes you've paid upfront, because some people might withhold on you when you sell to them, for those people or for those taxes, you can deduct it before you pay the net amount that's due. Now, those taxes or those, you have to file a return, and when you are filing the return, it's 4 months after your year end. So let's assume everybody ends in December. So by April ending, you have to file your return. And by this, I want to chip this in before even I get to PAY, because as individuals, we're also supposed to file our returns at the same time. So I'll come around to ask those who filed this by end of April. It's our civic duty, actually. It's a law, so let's keep that in mind and comply going forward. But that's really what happens to you as a business. That's what you should do. Now, the other concept is that the government says, you know what, I cannot wait until year end to run the country. So by the quarter of your year, let's say by March of, if we are talking about 2023, by March 2023, come to us and disclose to me what you think you will make for the year. And then based on that, you make quarterly payments in advance towards your year end. So once you file the return at the year end or in April, you can do any top-up. So that's the kind of corporate tax regime we have. We can go to the next, which is value-added taxes. And for my SMEs, I want you to pay particular attention to this and also to withholding, because it really breaks my heart sometimes. This is where the authorities get you most. Now, for VAT, VAT is supposed to be an intermediary tax for businesses. So ideally, in the strictest sense, you're not supposed to really incur or bear VAT. You are just an intermediary. You are just a vehicle. So the main target is the final consumer. So the principle there is that once you incur or you buy or you sell, you charge VAT. And then when you buy, you incur VAT, then you knock off, you set off. So if you've charged more than you've incurred, you pay the amount to GRA, Ghana Revenue Authority, that's GRA. If you have also incurred more, then GRA owes you. You can use it going forward. That's how the VAT regime is generally supposed to work. In Ghana, as an SME, if you anticipate or you make sales of about 200,000 Ghana cedi, you have to register for VAT. It's mandatory. And when you register, that means you have to start charging and then giving VAT invoices. Now, for this registration, we have two regimes of VAT. If you are an entrepreneur and you are into sale of goods, of anything up to 500,000, you fall under what we call the flat rate regime. And for those people, you have to charge VAT at 4%. For that regime, you do not have the right to claim the VAT you incurred from your purchases. So that's one regime. And then we have the standard one. That's the general principle I explained, that you buy and sell and then you knock off. That's the standard one. So that means that if you are an entrepreneur and SME that does two things, maybe you sell, let's say what you sell maybe shoes, you make and sell shoes and then you also repair. That means you have you have to comply by both regimes, to both regimes, right? So we have two different returns, you have to file both. And then we have the levies return as well. That's if you are standard, you have to file, because for the levies, you charge and you take the money and give it to GRA, but the ones you incur, you cannot claim. And so that sort of goes a little against, is at variance with what VAT regime is ordinarily supposed to do, but that's how our system is like. Now, for the VAT as well for entrepreneurs, I think I just want to draw your attention to the fact that we have some goods and some services that are not subject to VAT, they're exempt. So don't assume you know. Please ask the right people and ask the right questions when you want to go into a business. We have pharmaceuticals, we have some agricultural produce, we have medical supplies, education. So when you are going into it, they are not that much, but please ask the right questions. It might just be exempt. And then we have also relief persons. This exemption is really on the person you are selling to. So that is just saying that regardless of what you sell to this person, don't charge VAT. So know it as well. Please talk to the right people. That's why some of us are in employment. So if you have technical, complex questions, reach out to us to look at it. But that is what it says. There are particular people. We have the diplomatic missions. We have the president. We have a few others that are specifically relieved. Now, I think we've talked about the returns. When you have to file your VAT returns, it's due by the end of the following month. So we are in June. So by end of June, you should be filing your VAT return for May. And then you can, yes, the next one. So I wanted to draw your attention to EVAT as SMEs and entrepreneurs. There's a new wave coming. Actually, it's here with us. We had news of some of the chains of stores being locked up because they didn't follow this. Now, I think the government's goal is that by end of 2024, they expect to roll everybody onto the EVAT scheme. And what it means is that now there's a live system between what you sell and what GRA gets. It talks to them. So now everything has to pass through that. They'll have to issue, the whole manual invoicing will stop. And when you go and buy from anybody, they have to give you that receipt. It has a unique serial number or QR code that, GRA is able to take those data. And that means you cannot now, they have a way to monitor your sales. You cannot go and disclose something else to them. So let's be on the lookout. And then once you get the letter, I think now they are doing specific invitations to configure your systems. So let's be on the lookout, and by end of year next year, everybody would move to that. So I'll go to withholding taxes, and I think for SMEs, the biggest tax exposures most of the time is on this area. And withholding taxes is not another type of tax, it's just a mechanism. So what the policymakers are saying is that there are some people I trust more than others. So there are some people who I can track or trace and identify. So I have appointed my own agents. For those people, when you go to them and sell to them, they withhold a portion of your sales to me because I may not even find you after you sell, right? So that's my own controls in place. But you are an agent, so you have a responsibility. If you don't withhold, the government will come after you for not withholding. And then you can go and chase whoever you should have withheld on to see if you get your money. Now, for withholding taxes, we have different rates. This is just to give you an idea. There's a lot more rates. Even for me as a tax consultant, it's not every single one I might have offhand. So don't bother yourselves too much. There's a lot to refer to. But I think the very common ones, you have 3% for sale of goods, 7.5% for services, and works at 5% for residents in purchases and sales. So when you do that, you also have to make sure that by the end of so after 15 days after the end of each month, you report your withholding taxes to the authorities. Now, I want you to appreciate that there's withholding taxes if you foreign source, that's 20%. It's being punitive. They are saying buy made in Ghana goods, right? So actually when you import goods, you don't withhold, but made in Ghana services, procured. So it's more punitive if you have to source from outside. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to as an SME is that the GRA has a way of going about this withholding taxes. Now, when they come, they take every single expense that you have in your books, and then they try to slap the different rates on it to give you an expected withholding taxes you should have paid. So if they go to your returns and you paid less, you have to explain yourself. The burden of proof is on you. And there's a lot of times that you incur withholding taxes for no reason because you can't prove. So we'll come later to record keeping, which I think is very, very key for SMEs. But please do those reconciliations for yourselves. I always advise my clients, do it before they come so that you have your story ready if they approach, because that issue will definitely come. Now, as SMEs too, I know that one of the core things that you face as an SME is cash-based transaction. We are in a cash-based society. I know we are digitizing or digitalizing. So I am told there's a difference anyway. But so at some point, we have to still bite the bullet. We are trying to get there, but we are not there yet. So there's a lot of cash-based transactions. As SME, when you deal with the artisans and all that, you pay cash. Now, our tax law did not sort of anticipate or did not make provision for that. So it does not make a difference between, there's no difference between when you pay cash and when you don't pay cash, or whom you are paying. It's really about what was provided to you. So when the authorities come, they still expect that if you pay that 1,800 cedi, you should have withheld the 7.5 from it. And that's not going to happen, right? That's not going to. Even electricity, you're supposed to withhold, but if you like their ECG and don't pay their full amounts, right? So it is what it is. Some authorities or officers are very reasonable when you give them these explanations that we are cash-based, not possible, it's not practical. But some will prove difficult. So please, that's why I talk about reconciliation. Do your reconciliation. When you do that, you know those that are cash-based. You can then take that out. But that, again, will bring me to the point that as much as possible, try and trade with those that can give you receipt and you can withhold. As much as possible. Push for that for your own kind of sanity later. And then also when I would take this from when you sell to people and people withhold, chase for your certificate. That is your proof. So once you sell and somebody withholds, they will give you a piece of paper. That's in lieu of the payment. That's your evidence that the person has actually paid to the GRA. So the only change there is that now we are moving to the portal. Most offices don't accept the paper filings and they don't issue it anymore. So it will be on your portal. So please make sure there's evidence that the person has paid, or you can see on your portal as an SME. If you are not registered on the portal, please today register because it's also very convenient. So I'll go to PAYE, and I like PAYE because it's a touchy area. It touches everybody's pockets. So a lot of times when I do taxation, this is where most of the questions come, not for the business, but for everybody's own self. So PAYE, there are two streams. I'll talk about the pensions first. If you're an SME and you've employed somebody, you have an obligation to withhold and pay some money to SNIT or the other tiers. We have a 3-tier system. You have to, as an employer, you have to contribute 13% on behalf of your employee, and then your employee also pays 5.5% as pensions contribution. Now, besides that, there's a split of that you pay a portion to SNIT and then a portion to your second tier approved trustee. And then we have the 3rd tier, that's also, that's optional, that you can actually make the deductions and pay to them. So please make a point to comply. SNIT also does their audits. They come, and they can be more brutal than GRA. Their penalties are very punitive. So please make sure that you comply. I don't think as SMEs you have a lot of expatriates, so I would go light on that, not dwell too much on that. But the other is the income tax. So for income tax, it's also progressive. For where you see the rates, it just shows that that's one of the most recent changes. We have the highest marginal rate as 35%. So if you earn more than 50,000 in a month, that's where you are because you've earned it. So you pay more, but that's the rate generally from 0 to 35%. The 0 normally covers those who will earn the minimum wage. So you don't pay. So that's generally the rate. Please, as SME, make sure that you have complied with this. If you are employing a non-resident, and I want you to take this non-resident in a very different way. Non-resident has its own kind of definition under taxes. It's not because the person is not of the same race or is coming from outside. There are people that are qualified for non-resident, and that's 25% flat. If you are giving anybody in-kind benefits, for SMEs, I think this will not be a very common scenario. But if you for some reason give somebody a car to use or something, you need to know that you have to value that. We have a way of valuing it under taxes and then add it for tax. One other thing I wanted to dwell on as well is as SME or as entrepreneur, sometimes you are not sure whether to pay yourself or not, or whether to wait when you make profits and you pay yourself, or how much to give yourself. Now, the expectation is that you pay yourself fairly. but we don't, fairly is not defined, right? So it has to be your own judgment and a way of supporting how much you pay yourself, because the temptation is that if you pay the amount, you can deduct it before you pay your corporate income taxes. So that's a deduction from, that's the taxman is sponsoring it, let me put it that way. But if you pay the taxes as a as after you earn your profits, if you pay yourself fairly, and then you now come and take it as a surplus to yourself, that one is something that is coming to you. You can pay as much as your own marginal rate, right? So some people may fall under 35%, some may fall under 5%. So depending on your salary level now, you may be shortchanging the GRA, because GRA is on the moment you take it to income taxes, it's 25%. If you are taking it for yourself, it's any of these rates marginally. So depending on where the ball shifts, it might be to your favor or disfavor. So pay attention to how much you pay yourself and make sure you can justify. So also as a planning, if you don't pay yourself and your business can support, you are investing your time. If you had gone to a different company, they would have paid you, right? So look at it and see if you can fairly pay yourself, then it can reduce your corporate taxes that you pay. So on that as well, for some tax planning ideas, we have a lot of opportunities for you to, or some incentives under the tax law. And so when you are going into a business or branching into something else, please ask questions. We have tax holidays for some businesses, farming and the like, some venture capital entities. If you are also, we have things around where you even locate, if you are into manufacturing, where you locate your service can give you as much as a 50% rebate on your taxes. So you also have something we call young entrepreneurs. If you now have, we have a lot of young people going into entrepreneurship, right? So we have a provision that if you are below 35% and you're into some particular kind of businesses or industries, you have some tax holidays for a while and a reduced tax rate for some time. So it's just a note out there that ask the right questions so that you don't overpay taxes. Now I've talked about the portal. The other as SMEs that you need to know is sometimes you haven't reached the VAT mandatory registration threshold of about 200,000. But then you deal with people that want to get a VAT invoice from you. For them, they don't care. They don't want trouble. So they ask you for the VAT. If you are really not in terms of the bargaining and negotiation, you are in a difficult position. Some officers agree that you can approach them and then process a one-off VAT invoice. So don't lose your sales because of that. But you have every right not to have given the VAT invoice because you have not met the mandatory threshold. And I've talked about cash base, so be audit ready. And then we talk about record keeping. This is the place that I think is a special plea to SMEs. If you take nothing out of this session, please, if you go away with this, I'm very happy. Because this is where it's very heartbreaking. There are cases where I have clients approach me and they are helpless, I'm helpless. Because it's not that the transaction didn't happen, but they can't find the proof. And a lot of tax liabilities is because of that. Because the GR, if they haven't seen it, and it's not even GR, you go through financial statements audits as well. And a lot of these come when you have gone past the year. The person has left, it's a 5-year audit, and you can't find the answers. So please, let's make record keeping very personal. I think that's the message here. But if it's not written, it's not done, or it didn't happen. If you can't find it, it doesn't exist. And that happens everywhere. So what do? Have controls. You know, as a business, you might not be deliberate or conscious, but every business has its controls. Before you sign a check, somebody would say if it reaches 2,000 or 5,000, it's the CEO that will have to sign. Everybody has controls, some way, one way or the other. Have controls around record keeping. Let it be a culture, so that everybody knows what to do when they receive the invoice up to when they pay. When do they file the invoice? In what state does it do it? Now, we'll talk about the filing system a lot more, but think about your storage. Have a backup. We've had cases where fire got the whole place and you've lost everything, right? So have a backup. Now we have the whole digital economy. We have tools. We have the cloud. So please use that to your advantage. Save them. I would say that depending on your business, some businesses are very lean on invoices. So you can choose to do pure manual because you are lean, but still have a backup for if you can scan and keep, that would be amazing. We have electronic and hard files. I would still say that even for electronic, there are some agreements that you don't want to still lose. In PWS, we have something we call permanent folders. Those ones are the ones that outlives people in years. So you might have your letter of incorporation, some special agreement. It doesn't really evolve over time. You want to keep it at a special place, and so that you can retrieve it anytime. Now, the other thing is that prioritize external sourcing of invoices or of documents. So as SMEs, sometimes you are too busy, you buy and you move on. But as much as possible as you can, ask. Okay. So as much as possible, ask for invoices. And if it's externally sourced, the better. Some companies try and do, sometimes you cannot get it. So maybe sometimes a debit note internally or a memo. That's not as reliable. It can be secondary evidence, but that's not the first thing to rely on. So please make sure you source your invoices as much as possible externally from the person you are buying from. Now, in terms of record keeping as well as user sensitivity. So everything, we have confidentiality levels, right? So when you are keeping these things, know who has access to what. It's very important. There are some things that you only want the CEO to know, but even that you want to know that, especially if it's a legal entity, it's a very separate entity from yourself. So you want to split or separate your own transactions from it. Your bank account is not your business's bank account, especially if you're a separately registered legal entity. So look at who you give access to and what you give access to who. Beyond that as well, we have regulatory requirements. So for example, for taxes, we have 6 years. So make sure that all these record keeping is in line with the regulatory authority. The laws and regulations. We have some data protection laws. Make sure you seek the right consultation to keep that. And then one thing I want to stress on is also get an accounting software as much as you can. There are very, I don't want to call it cheap, but not too expensive ones on the market and really good ones out there. Get a good accountant. Sometimes you think about the money you pay now, but tomorrow what comes to bite you is so much that it's good to you don't need to invest too much. Sometimes even maybe a fresh graduate in account, somebody who is willing to learn and know your business and know these things, it will save you a whole lot in future. So please invest in these things as SME to streamline your business. So I wanted to touch on the filing system because from my experience as well, I think this is one area that is very important critical for SMEs. That's not being done really well for now. So for filing system, gauge as being efficient and simple, robust enough but efficient. So you want your filing system such that anybody who takes it tomorrow, if your account person decides to leave you, you don't even need to call him because everything is on file. You have things established in terms of how you file, when you file. You have all the color coding, the convention in labeling things. So anybody who takes the file, it's not that the person can even easily continue that other person's work, but it's also very easy to retrieve things. So please have that in mind, label it. I always say that sometimes I'm a corporate as well. Sometimes we are in a hurry. So your desktop is full of files, right? Because you don't have the time. And then you label it anyway. Sometimes you have an Excel is called Book 1. Now, the thing is that you don't have time to save and store it now. But trust me, that's 3 minutes you've saved today. Tomorrow when you are looking for it is 1 hour. you use to search for that document. Because either the folder is not well labeled or it's hidden somewhere it shouldn't be. So let's invest time up front and let's be consistent with our labeling. Have a filing convention. As SME, your businesses vary. Some of you might just be serving one client, some multiple clients. So it's a matter of how do I file. Some people do based on suppliers. Some do based on the time and the date of the invoice. I would always preach for a combination so that depending on the volume, you know that these are the people, these are the suppliers, these are the customers, and then it's also time-based. It makes life very easy for you to retrieve things when you do that. So I think I've talked about access rights. So on that note, I'll leave you with this, that please plan. You are in business for a reason. It could be any reason, but money is one of the key reasons you are an SME, you're into businesses. So please prepare, plan, so that in the end, your money can pay you off and you can retire and passively enjoy the work that your money has done for you. So on that note, I'll bring it to the end and say thank you. If there are questions.
Thank you very much. Gifty Apia, we are honored to have you. Indeed, we have a time for question session. The choice is yours, whether to sit in our first seat. Some people would want to walk around, so the choice is yours.
Okay.
But before we take our question session, I'd like to remind all of us that this program is proudly sponsored by Media General, 3FM 92.7, and also on Onya TV, which is streaming live. We also have PwC, Alisa Hotel, Mamaku Fast Foods, Business and Financial Times, and Promisado. Please be reminded, to my immediate left corner is being served hot coffee, so feel free and serve yourself. That's a package being offered to us by Promisado. We also have Glatska Enterprise, Pan-African TV, which is in collaboration with Obasama, and of course, Alaji's wife, who is been serving us with some sumptuous wachi. We'll talk about that one later. At this point, I'd like to invite Rejoice Ekufu, Head of ICT and Infrastructure, to lead us through the question and answer session. Gifty, would you want to take a seat or you'd want to walk around? The honor is yours again. Thank you. Rejoice, kindly join me upstage and help us do the question and answer session. Thank you. Let's give her a clap offering, please. Once again, we are proudly sponsored by Media General, 93.2 FM, Onya TV, PwC, Alisa Hotel, Mawako Fast Foods, BFT, Promisado, Glasgow Enterprise, Pan-African TV, in collaboration with Obasama, and of course, Alaji's wife. Rejoice, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Linda, for this opportunity. As Linda mentioned, my name is Rejoice Ekufu. So first of all, Gifty has taken us through quite an insightful journey in terms of organizing our finances as SMEs in the Ghanaian economy to thrive, grow, and create wealth for future generations. So Gifty, with this given us, we also have some panel members who we would introduce along the line to assist us with real-life experiences. They will share with us what they've been through, their journey throughout the years in the SME sectors of this economy, how they've built their businesses to a certain level that now they can sit back and say that they've created wealth for the economy and future generations as well. We have in our midst Madam Adelaide Eshring, CEO of FIO Enterprises, with us this morning. We also have Mrs. Faustina Adolfo Ajaga, CEO of First Choice Hair and Nail Salon. We have Madam Rashida Sani Nasamu, CEO Izar Group and Alaji's wife. So we'll open the floor, first of all, to our invited guests, our partners, our customers, to ask Gifty questions pertaining to her field. the presentation she shared with us, I believe we all have certain questions to ask to seek for clarity so that we can use that knowledge gained to propel our businesses. So we'll open the floor. My colleagues will assist with the taking of microphones around so that people can engage Gifty. Thank you.
Please, you can also speak Tree or any language you are comfortable in. So,
thank you very much. My name is Samuel Asante from Ascot Pharmacy. Actually, I have been in this SME business for a long time, and I used to find quite difficult experience. Number one, when we talk about planning, as he said, that is his last point, planning. If you fail to plan, you are planned to fail. That is the adage. But we fail to tell ourselves that business is continuous planning. Every stage of your business, you need to plan because there is a variation in creating a business. Sometimes you start with buying tomatoes or going to what we call north to buy tomatoes. They get to somewhere, you change direction. Either you have to do manufacturing or packaging. So packaging is also another business altogether. Though it's a line business, but it's a part. So what normally they fail to tell us is plan. But I wish if they say continuous planning, because every sector that you find yourself, you need to plan to get your way. I used to make myself a tree. You direct where the direction goes. Then, secondly, to taxation in Ghana. The moment I set up my business, you see the government, AMA, those people, they are coming in drones. You have maybe only 5,000 to start that business. So these are also certain situations that SMEs, young people coming into business face. They will come, okay, close your place because you are not registered with AMA. Do this, you are not done. And somebody will come, the board, you need to pay. So these are some of the challenges in taxation. And even as he said, I'm not aware that if you are a certain age, you have a tax exemption. Because the moment you start, I remember AMA tax in Medina, they brought a long list of debts that I need to pay. I just started the business. And I don't even have money. I was going around looking for money. So these are some of the challenges that SMU. So when we get a stage and they have to talk about all those challenges, because as I said first, the planning and the taxation in Ghana, they don't think about whether you started today. They only need for you to pay tax. And they will tell you that pay in advance. And these are some of the problems that we SMEs are finding ourselves in. Thank you very much.
thank you. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Okay, so if you have any other question, kindly put your hand up. As I said, you can speak Twi or any other language you are comfortable in.
Good morning. Let me stand here so everyone can see me. My name is Alethea. I own a business in Medina, so I'm representing more like the market women in Medina. Some of us, we found ourselves in the market, and they say when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. So the little we learned from school, we dropped it. Then we followed what the market women do. I sell drinks and water, by the way. With our kind of business, we have no time to issue receipts, to take invoices, to file, to do all the things that, I mean, I came later, so the little I had, for us, we don't have the time to do that. We've learned a few tricks in the market that is keeping us going. So gradually, I'm becoming a market pro. Some of the things I really don't understand. When they said SME, I've never been to any seminar like this, so I'm wondering SME na yedi ade. First off. Second off, me bank mo bema misika na ade na mo keka kire me. Because as much as I will be educated or enlightened here, there will be a lot more of us in the market who would need say. I'm a little exposed into my table of but school no man queen. However, I adding on to the tax that my gentleman mentioned. Some of us we have, even yesterday I had the same issue. Madam, what to me mudodo? Madam, niema no kwa na ekosro. Then they come and ask me what is inflation. I said, Papa, oh yeah, I'm a supplier. You are supposed to know more than I do. Na my tutu chantro bi ne ekwaji sika na die na me keke bibi because on tiase na me sukra na tiase. However, I'm asking, these taxes that keeps going up, how is it coming? What's happening? And why is that our business anyway? Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, our capital keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We keep going to find money from somewhere. The bank needs my money. I need money from the bank. So please, explain further so I can send the message. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's put our hands together for her. Would you want to answer the two?
I can try because I think this question is more for government than for me. I'll try and get into the government, but my clients, so yeah, the people I also deal with, and so we ask them these questions. So it's also good because now when I'm tabling things, I can add it. But I think what government is trying to do, as we all saw, is that the price. So I am not really for introducing more taxes. I really think we have enough taxes. It's about implementation and closing the loopholes, which is not happening. But that said, the taxes are also supposed to, it comes as a way to cushion the finances. And if you remember, when e-levy came, we preached this story over and over again that, do you know, at the end of the day, you want more money, but once you are not cautious and then you impose more taxes, it gets to a point, back to my curve, right, where people, if they have a choice, will now stop consuming what you plan to get taxes on. So I'm really sorry, I don't think I have an answer, but the whole idea of taxes is for it to be used for the public goods that we do. You can ask questions around it, but in terms of what you do, we also have the same question in terms of the tax law can be a bit complicated. So you don't expect an average person who is selling in the market to know these and even file their returns. But unfortunately, the tax law did not make that distinction, so you still need to file. What I would say, and I'm happy you brought this point, is that all the things I was talking about on the 25%, for people who are, for example, trading in the market, you are likely not operating under any setup or registered entity. So we call you sole proprietors. And for those people, any income is income. You don't have to go through these rigidities of what is allowed and what is not allowed as a deduction. You bulk it all together, that's your income, and then pay taxes. So I think that's my only plea. If I have anything to say, civic duty, let's try as much as possible. Ghana is for us all, so if it goes good, it works, we all laugh. So let's try.
You'll be very busy not having time to put the filing in place, etc. But I think these days we are actually fortunate because technology is making it easier somewhat. So, for example, in UMB, we have a product we call Speed Pay. And once you accept people to make Momo payments, etc., the system itself will do the filing as the payments come through. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to have the receipts in terms of the payments that you've received in there. It can generate a report for you, and then you have those sort of things in there. So these are some of the benefits you get from using the electronic and the digital sort of products and services. And why is this important? Because you see, when it comes to tax, the more information you have, the better you are to argue your case. Otherwise, you would have the flat rate. But once you have a lot of information, you'll be able to argue your case in terms of what is the specific amount, where was that money spent, what withholding tax attracts that particular transaction, etc. The thing about making sure that you are paying the right taxes is that it's beneficial to you as well as to the government, because it's not beneficial if you don't have enough information, so you have to pay the flat rate. That's a hit and miss. You could be paying much more in most cases. But once you spend some time getting the information together, then you maximize or you minimize the amount of your cost so that you pay just for what it is that you have to pay. And our speaker said something. Sometimes it is good to give maybe a fresh accounting graduate an opportunity in your shop. So while you are busy, they can be looking at what they have and structuring things alongside you. But I won't say much more because we have some really experienced people who are going to be coming to speak to you on the panel, who have had real experience of some of these things that you are saying, who started in the same marketplaces that you are now. And that's why we are so privileged today to have them. So when they come, I'm sure they'll touch on a bit more to give you some more of the tips. Thank you.
Any other
My name is Henrietta Oku from Kasua. Madam Vicia, I would like you to help me on this topic of yours to diverse business and then borrowing. I deal in lubricant and car parts. So, for instance, my business is running late, and probably I want to divert my business because the top bar operators probably operate more in items such as tomato cube, etc., spices and all that. But like I said, my spare part is running. I'm not getting any profit from that stuff. So how do UMB and then my borrowing? How can UMB help me? Probably if I want to divert my business to get something, how can the bank help to assist? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's put our hands together for her. We'll take 2 more questions and we'll be done with the Q&A session.
At this stage, I just want to hear one more question so that we can do the 2 questions together.
Listen.
So what I'm going to suggest is we will do these 2 questions, then we will go into the panel session. Then after the panel session, we'll have some more time for some more questions so that at least we can keep it going that way.
Please be attentive. We are going to keep videos almost easy. My problem is about withholding tax and VAT. At the time of supply, 2020, the VAT was 3%. And the government took a long time to pay me. Now the VAT is 4%. I'm supposed
Thank you. It is noted.
Oh, okay. Did you mean you supply to the government? Is that your question? So
At
it's
the time of supply, VAT was 3%.
okay.
And I did all my calculations. Now VAT is 4%.
Okay.
You want me to pay 4% because you are paying me the money now. So how will I do it?
Okay. Let me be sure I understand. At the time you sold to the person, you made the supply was 3%. So that's flash rate. You sold at 3%, right? And now it's 4%. Is it the question of you are now being paid? That's the question. So VAT is not on you issued the invoice. At the time, so it's a timing thing. If I sell now and it's 3%, the rate on it is 3%. The law that came to change it later cannot go back to affect what you've already sold. That's retrospective application. It doesn't work that way. So ideally, if you sold that in maybe January 2020, by February, end of February, you should have paid that money. I think I would get the concern if you were asking you hadn't been paid. So where are you getting the money? Is that the question? That's the question. Okay. So unfortunately, the government is telling you if you don't have money, go and borrow and pay. It can't wait for your customer to pay before it gets its money. So unfortunately, that is really what it is. It's payment. As you sell, you pay. It's the same way as you incur. You know, when you also buy from somebody and that you haven't paid the person, you still report it in the return that I've bought this, I have the invoice for this month. But maybe you haven't paid, but the government will acknowledge that it owes you. So that's how it works. It's not based on when you are paid. But the 4%, you don't have to worry about it because that's not when you sold. They can't come and ask for 4% on a 2020 sale. Oh, you are not clear. Listen.
Let me put it this way. 2020, I supply grocery to a company, government sector. Money was not paid till 2023. Now, the system we have is when they pay you, they take the withholding tax, and at the same time, you go and pay your VAT before they pay you. So now the VAT, they are calculating it on 4%. When we question, they say that is the GRA law, that the current situation that they are paying you, the VAT is 4%, so we have to pay 4%. Meanwhile, at the time I supplied 2020, the VAT was 3%.
So they calculate the tax for you. So you go and pay or they'll go and pay for you? You go and pay. Okay. So please, that's not law. That's not true. That can't be done. So when you sell is when you have to account for it and pay. If they are now paying you, they want you to show them proof that you paid them. It's government, it's agency helping agencies, the same government. So I understand where they are coming from. There are even cases where they will tell you they are taking your VAT and going to pay for you because they don't trust you to go and give it to the GRA, which is also not right. But it's not done anyway. It's not law. That can't be done. They can't say you should pay 4% because they are now paying you when the rate was 3%. Okay. So if you have issues, come to me. Okay. We have a business school training that we do to address some of these things, and that's why we are also there. So please, you can route it through our UMB. They can reach out to us, come to the platform. We'll try and answer some of these questions.
Thank you very much. And just to add to that, these questions are extremely interesting for us. So as we do the Q&As, please also put down some of the questions. And our relationship managers will come around, will collate all the questions. We've even had discussions around here right now where we might even invite ZRA as well to a similar session like this. So we can actually put some of these issues and let them clarify for us. What we want is to partner you to make sure that all these things are resolved. So ask us the more questions. Let's get the right people in the room so we can have those discussions. So thank you very much. And Madam, for you about the UMB support, I think that's why we are starting this competition. For us, we just want to be able to make sure that we understand your business through and through. And to understand your business through and through, unfortunately, we need information and details. And so we need to find a way where you can accommodate that requirement. Because the more we know about your business, the easier it is to support the business. So that there are no surprises. The issue about financing a business is when you are not sure about what is going to happen in the next few months, you are not sure when payments are going to come in the next few months, then you are operating in the dark. When you're operating in the dark, the risk of operating is much higher. When the risk is higher, it's your own money, so to speak. You know, people bring deposits, and we take some of the deposits to lend to businesses. So in order to protect the people who bought the deposits, we have to assess the risk of the one we are giving the money to. And the less knowledge we have about the one we are giving the money to, the less it is for us to be able to do it. So it's a knowledge and is a detail game when it comes, right? And a lot of businesses, sometimes your business may be much better than somebody else's business, but you find that the other person seems to be attracting a lot of credit, but you are not attracting the credit. You may feel it's all because of protocol, but in most cases, it's because the person has taken the time to provide the necessary information that helps us to make the decisions. So when we meet like this, we want to make sure that we pass that message across so that it makes it easier for us to do business and be mutually beneficial. But thank you. We are going to move very quickly to the session where we have real life heroes who have been running this thing, who have been in the trenches for many years and have succeeded. They can even share more of their experiences with us. And after they are done, if there are any more questions, we'll take them and see how we can handle. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's put our hands together for MD.
Thank you, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure at this moment to welcome you to the next stage of this program, which is the panel discussion. And I want to register my personal appreciation to our great panelists who have given up very precious time to come and join us this morning for these discussions. These are women I personally admire a lot because they've done a lot in business through thick and thin and have succeeded in very, very, very tough environments and have stood tall. And so we are very privileged to have them in our midst today. I ask that we take full advantage of the short time that we have with them so that we can hear a lot of good things that they've done. So in no particular order, can I please invite Dr. Kate Papafiu-Korte up?
Let's put our hands together for her.
Auntie Kate. She's a great role model to me. Thank you so much for coming. I'd like to invite Adelaide Ahrin, CEO of Fio Enterprises. Auntie Fio, a woman I've known to be in business for Makanshi over 30 years and still going strong. Thank you so much. We want to invite Faustina Adofo Ajaga, CEO of First Choice Hair and Nail Salon. She is joining us via Zoom. I'm sure most of you know of First Choice, and you know how long they've been in business as well. And finally, we will invite Rashida Sani Nasamo, CEO of Izar Group and Alaji's wife. Thank you so much for joining us today as well. So without much ado, I'll hand over. Okay. who would like to, Gifty, please join us as well. You are a wealth of information. A round of applause to our great panelists. Hand over to Linda as she facilitates the session.
Thank you very much, our very own Nana Jumobene, CUMD of Universal Mission Bank. As you mentioned earlier, today, the 27th of June, is marked as the UN SME Day. And in Ghana, I dare say that June is SM month in Ghana, not just UNB. Once again, our panelists are welcome. Give me the permission to read your profiles. Thank you. So in no particular order, I'd like to start with Dr. Mrs. Kate Papafio, a distinguished Ghanaian industrialist. Mrs. Kate Papafio, doctor, is a firm, proactive, and resourceful leader who sees risk and challenges as opportunities for growth and development. To her, gender cannot be an excuse for non-performance. She founded the Ghanaian cables manufacturing giant Reroll Cables Limited in 1992 to distribute high-quality electrical cables. And as at today, Reroll Cables represents the repositioning of one of the iconic brand names in Ghana's cable manufacturing and aluminum application industry, which goes beyond its basic power cables business to develop and deliver complete power solution. As a major player in the production and distribution of power cables, conductors, provision of electrical power distribution system, and strategic contract services to the electricity sector, its business is linked to the electricity distribution and transmission. Reroy has expanded its manufacturing capabilities in Ghana to optimize its global business portfolio and exploring further other geographical developments and deployment of businesses and ventures across the sub-region. Over the last 2 decades, she has led Reroy to build a brand which has now become synonymous with our core values of excellence, integrity, and continuous improvement. In view of the increasing complexities and dynamic nature of current challenges facing many of the world's economies, she had led Reroy to focus on parts of their investment on the development of specialized human resource and technological base. Today, Reroy can confidently boast of a client-focused approach underpinned by responsiveness and keen attention to detail as a hallmark of her service delivery. She has received many national and international recognitions, which includes Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, CIMG Marketing Woman of the Year 2013, and also a judge winner of the entrepreneurship category at the maiden edition of the Sajifo Kwame Nkrumah African Genius Award, and her company, Reroy Cables Limited, was adjudged the Manufacturing Company of the Year 2014 at the latest National Marketing Awards organized again by the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana. Other achievements include winner of 2013 Ernst & Young West African Entrepreneur of the Year Award, Africa's Most Influential Women in Business and Government Awards 2013, CEO Communications Limited, South Africa and Silver Award, 3rd Ghana African Business Award 2008. She was also a panel member at the 2015 Global African Investment Summit UK, and in 2018 represented Ghana at the Lionesses of Africa platform in South Africa. The European Business Assembly in Germany recently adjudged her the best manager. At the same ceremony, her company, Reroy Cables Limited, was named the best enterprise. She was in December 2016 honored at the Ghana Poverty Awards. Then she again was honored as the Businesswoman of 2016 by the Ghana Economy Forum of Excellence Awards, again in 2016. She was recently decorated with a doctorate degree for her unique contribution to the national and international topical issues spanning over a period of 20 years, and was also acknowledged by the Marketplace Africa on the CNN network as Queen of Cables in Africa. The World Diplomatic Federation early in the year 2021 inducted her as the Women and Children's Affairs Commissioner. Respectfully, we have Dr. Mrs. Kate Kwate Papafio as our panelist for this morning. Also with us this morning, I have Ms. Adelaide Shrine, popularly known as Auntie Few, a leading woman entrepreneur in Ghana with over 20 years business acumen in the distribution of fast-moving consumer goods, business development, marketing, and sales. Her desire to excel in business started as early as in the 70s while studying at the Wesley Girls High School, Cape Coast. Live pure, respectfully. Right, wrong? Thank you. Where she would return from holidays with handkerchiefs and other items to sell in her school to mates for profit. This must have come in handy with the untimely demise of her father rather early in her life. Adley started her professional career as an assistant quantity surveyor at the State Construction Company in Accra after graduating from the University of Science and Technology in building technology, rising through the ranks to become the regional quantity surveyor. Following her heart, hands, and mind, she took up the business leadership mantle by founding FEO Enterprise in 1996, the leading distributor of Nestle Ghana Limited and Liver Ghana Limited, a key distributor of Guinness Ghana Brewery Limited, Accra Brewery Limited, and other multinational companies involved in fast-moving consumer goods in Ghana. This feat did not materialize overnight, as she earlier earned herself some money from locally prepared ice cream, which she religiously sold at the Donsoman Beach. These varied experiences helped her to start small and manage well when her business grew, a factor which endeared her to corporate Ghana, culminating in an invitation to serve on boards of key corporate institutions such as Data Bank, EPAC Investment Limited. She's also part of the team who has over the years contributed to the direction, growth, sustainability of investment company in Ghana. She is currently a member of Private Sector Development Board, University of Science and Technology, Center for Business Excellence, Director of FEO Enterprise Limited, and Director for Center for Scientific Research and Scientific and Industrial Research, Animal Research. She also served as Director for Ghana Civil Aviation, GCAA, Director of HFC Boafo Microfinance, and a member of Government's Economic Advisory Council. Adley's innovative marketing skills were recognized when she was adjudged the Chartered Institute of Marketing Woman of the Year in 2003. She was also awarded the West African International Nobles Winner for 2004 and Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Alumni Personality of the Year in 2006. She's currently a member of the following boards: African Leadership Initiative, Corporate Initiative Ghana, Board of Wesley Girls High School, once again Live Pure, Endowment Fund, and the school's first female PTA chairperson, Chartered Institute of Marketing honorary member, and Millennium Excellence Award Organizing Committee. Adelaide holds a Solon Executive Certificate in Marketing, Management and Leadership, my apologies, from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, USA, Croshon Fellowship and Cornell University, USA, and she holds a BSc Honorable in Building Technology from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. GCO level was attained at no other place than Wesley Girls High School. Thank you once again. With your permission, may I continue? Rashida Sanasi Nasamu Hajia is the group's Chief Executive Officer of ISA, MD of the Ghana Report, founder of Alaji's Wife, and owner of other businesses and investments under her group named companies. She's a multiple award-winning communication consultant, an entrepreneur, organizational development strategist, and a youth wealth creation advocate. Prior to her investment in the media, she worked as a broadcast journalist for over 10 years. With an extensive knowledge in public relations and other communication management tactics, she has serviced many organizations in Ghana by developing practical projects that have supported their business goals. She has successfully planned and executed communication strategies which have yielded desired results for clients including MSH USAID, Ghana Health Services, NTP, UNDP, and on Ghana's constitutional amendment, Global Bridge, amongst many others. I'd like to proudly say that as part of her sponsorship package, Hajia has served as a hot dish of wachi. Thank you. Mrs. Faustina Adolfo Ajaga has over 25 years' experience in beauty industry, in which her expertise, skill, and accomplishment are regarded as exceptional by her competitors in Ghana. Mrs. Ajaga a highly revered beauty consultant, is the founder and CEO of First Choice Hair and Beauty. She has led First Choice Hair and Beauty to be the market leader in virtually every aspect of beauty treatment. Under her stewardship, First Choice has become the largest and the most capable one-stop beauty service provider in the country. It is now the most preferred choice for many discerning customers. Mrs. Ajaga was voted the most respected CEO in cosmetology at the Ghana Industry CEO Awards. While her area of specialization in hairstyling, hair cutting, hair coloring, hair treatment, indeed, everything that has got to do with health of hair, so of all type, is her field. Her exemplary entrepreneurial and professional accomplishments are the result of outstanding talents, unwavering commitment, diligence, and unflagging sheer hard work, added to both entrepreneurial spirit and extraordinary management capacities with regards to both human and material resources. She began her career with training at a top model beauty salon as an apprentice in the early 1990s after her secondary education at Nkoko in the eastern region of Ghana. After almost 2 years of working experience at top model salon, she started her own salon called First Choice Hair and Nails, which is located at Zongo Junction off Kanishi Kolebu Highway in Accra in August 1997. This was what she has over the past 2.5 decades done and transformed into Ghana's truly world-class beauty facility, First Choice and Beauty. She deservedly has been conferred with several awards, the two most recent being the 2018 Most Outstanding Female Personality in Beauty by the Business Executive magazine and 2018 Ghana Fashion Awards by the National Commission on Culture. She is also a member of the Professional Beauticians Association, and due to her passion for seeing other young individuals, especially when get gainfully employed and in living a self-sufficient life, she's also trained and groomed about 600 beauticians over 25 years of her working life. Faustina's desire for value, placed on continuous education, has led her to further get herself trained in new techniques in the beauty and cosmetology industry. She has been styling, hair coloring. She has to herself styling, hair coloring, and treatment techniques and likes in Germany, United Kingdom, as Brunner Bros. Sorry, my apologies again. I'll take that again. She has been trained in and learned new techniques in maintaining good and healthy hair, hair cutting and styling techniques, hair coloring, and hair treatment techniques, and the likes in Germany, United Kingdom, Italy, and United States. She's a regular attendant of the beauty trade shows, fairs, and summits, such as the Brunner Bros. International Beauty Show, Cosmoprof North America, IBS New York, and Cosmoproof Worldwide, Bologna, etc. Mrs. Faustina Adolfo Ajaga is married with 3 children and aptly combining her professional and domestic duties. She's a Christian by faith and a devout worshiper at the International Central Gospel Church at Christ Temple in Anabosokain. Mrs. Faustina Ajaga will be joining us virtually this morning. As we can see on our screen, she's already up there. Kindly let's give it up to her, Mrs. Ajaga. And for those who missed our first panelist who did the financial capacity building, I'd like to take Gifty up here again. Gifty serves both public and private sector clients across industries. Over the years, Gifty has also provided assistance in the area of tax and compliance and consulting services by advising various clients on the tax impact of their future or past transactions. She has led engagements on tax dispute resolutions for entities of various sizes and complexities by leading negotiations, providing technical opinion on matters, and coordinating the contributions of various stakeholders on issues raised by the Ghana Revenue Authority. Her experience includes conducting tax health checks and due diligence engagements, providing advisory services on the structuring of transactions and dues, assisting clients on GRA audits, offering tax provisioning services for financial statement reporting, making tax planning recommendations, as well as leading projects on tax controversy management. Gifty has 2 years' experience in providing tax compliance and provisioning services to United States based on publicly listed clients, including those in the trading and services sector, where she has advised on efficient ways of complying with the tax laws and meeting the tax accounting reporting requirements. Gifty is a regular facilitator on tax topics at PwC Business School and has been involved in various speaking engagements and publications such as Tax Facts and Figures and the Budget Update. Gifty is an Associate Director of Tax Services. Family, these are our panelists for this morning. Once again, you are welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Linda, for the introduction. That is a very thorough introduction of our panelists this morning. It shows the in-depth experience they all have, and they are going to share with us so that at the end of the day, all of us will have some take-homes, something to take home that will help us address some of the issues boggling our minds, help us to solve issues that we encounter as we move our businesses forward. I would like to, first of all, share some numbers. SMEs and MSMEs play a key role in the survival and growth of the Ghanaian economy. In fact, globally, SMEs or MSMEs are turning things around for economies. And so there's the need for each and every one of us to focus on MSMEs if we want our economy to survive and grow. Some of the data shared by World Bank that I would like us to look at so that at every point in time, we'll have at the back of our minds when we are contributing our quota to the economy as MSMEs. First of all, I think my lady from Medina mentioned that she didn't know what SME stands for. I would like to give a brief on that. So if we say MSMEs, they are micro, small, and medium enterprises. Micro, small, and medium enterprises. And these businesses are classified under these areas based on two things. One, the investment that the owners put in the business will determine whether you fall under medium, micro, small enterprise. And then also the number of people you employ. So you'd see that for micro enterprises, their staff strength is normally 1 to about 5. When you look at small businesses, their staff strength is about 5 to 30. When you look at medium enterprises, staff strength is about 31 to 100. And then beyond medium enterprises, we have the large enterprises, that is those with staff strength in excess of 100 people. Now, the World Bank recent reports indicate that MSMEs play significant role in major economies globally, as I've mentioned. Ghana is ranked 3rd highest with respect to women SMEs in the world. 92% of businesses in Ghana are MSMEs, and they contribute to 60% of the country's GDP. Also, 80% of jobs are created by MSMEs in Ghana. It has also been established globally that women MSMEs, and emphasis is on women SMEs make about 36% more profits monthly than their male peers. I hope we heard that. We make 36% more monthly profits than our male peers. So women play key roles in this economy. Suffice to say that MSMEs are the lifeblood of the economy, as they are the drivers of innovation, employment, and sustainable economic development, with women predominantly leading this. For it is said, equality is treating each one same, but some may be challenged, especially women in this part of the world. We are challenged. Hence, emphasis should be on equity, that is, customizing to ensure all have same opportunity. And once we all have same opportunity, we will definitely do more than the 36% more than our male peers. Some of the key issues or challenges we face as SMEs in the world and in Ghana for that matter is access to finance. And that is why we are here today. So it is actually identified as a critical factor, and that is why Gifty took us through the various aspects that we have to look at as MSMEs if we want to grow as businesses, if we want to create wealth for our future generations, and if we want to significantly contribute to the growth of the Ghanaian economy. There are institutions across board, financial institutions like us, UMB, the World Bank, European Union, AFTA. They are all creating enabling environment and positioning themselves as key partners for this very valuable market segment. The objective of this panel discussion this morning is to discuss how women in SMEs can maximize the resources within the financial sector to grow their businesses for future generations. We'll also discuss wealth opportunities for women in SMEs and how that can shape future of this sector. And lastly, through the experiences that will be shared with us, we'll look at how the financial sector can facilitate to ensure financial inclusiveness of all women in the SME sector. So we'll go straight into our Q&A session. We have a few questions that we would like to engage our panelists on so that we'll all better understand what to do, where we can get help through our journeys. Since they've had experiences, several years of experiences, we'll call them astute business women. Thank you once again for honoring our invitation. So I'll start with Gifty, Madam Gifty. With introduction of new taxes here and there you mentioned in our tax system in Ghana, how can financial literacy help businesses to claw back, to grow their businesses and create wealth for generations?
Okay, so I think one key thing is that you can't talk about financial literacy without taxes. So tax education is key. The key thing is you shouldn't pay more or less than what you are required to pay. So for you to make money is two things: to make sure that you are paying the right amount of taxes. And that also means that knowing what you are required to do under the tax laws. And then beyond that as well, when this is all said and done, what do you do with the rest of the money? So I would say that let's be aware of tax education. There are incentives under the tax law. And one main thing also is that the government have some strategic initiatives. It's also looking at sectors that is things that is of strategic priority to the nation. So this should also drive you on where you go. It can be a plus because you have some concessions on taxes. So beyond that, then your bottom line grows. And through that as well, you're able to help steer the economy onto the tangent of growth that it is going. So I think that's what I'll say about the taxes and the impact on finances.
Very well, thank you. So as you rightly mentioned, government has incentives in place. There are also initiatives to help us reduce our tax burden. So we should be engaging more of the tax experts to help us maneuver our way through so that we can reserve some of the wealth we create for future generations. Thank you. So Dr. Kate Quote-Papafield, as one of the key industry players in this economy and based on your experience, how did financial literacy and capacity building contribute to your own success?
It's very interesting. First of all, I would like to congratulate UMB this month for the SMEs. I'd like to congratulate UMB. It's a great pleasure to be part of this program. Looking at it from a point of financial I would say that it's just a simple profit and loss analysis. Because basically, if you really want to start anything at all that you start, maybe as an entrepreneur, as business, your timing is very important. But at the same time, it's just a simple profit and loss. Am I making profit? Yes. Am I losing? Why am I losing? Ask yourself questions. Once you ask yourself questions, why am I losing? What is it that I'm doing wrong that I shouldn't have done? Then you can add, invest more, maybe your timing, maybe your products, value added. How can you just simple make profits? The bottom line is the numbers. It's the numbers. At the end of the day, am I making profit? Yes. Am I breaking even? Yes. Can I make a little bit more? Yes or no? What is it that we want to do? Most of the times, it always happens that in business, we look at it when you start. We all started from a very small point. And I would say I would like to encourage everybody in this room. We are all business people. We are all entrepreneurs. We start from our kitchen. Right from there, the way we package ourselves from our kitchen. So I want to encourage everyone to start with a very small beginning. You don't have to wait and say that, well, I'm going to be, if you're talking about SMEs, when am I going to get there? You are already there because you are busy already. You're even your kitchen, the way you prepare your shito, the way you prepare your stew, the way you package yourself. So you are already an entrepreneur. We all have our gifts, but yours is a very special to you, how you package and how you market it. And to encourage to say that we shouldn't look at only ourselves here in Ghana. The market now is huge out there. We should look at the global markets. We should look at we're talking about AFTAG in the sub-region. What is it that we have that they don't have? How am I going to export? You ask yourself that. Even from your own small way, how can you export? Because when you look at Ghana, you say that, okay, the Ghana market is there. But then when you look at it from the continental free trade perspective, it's quite a huge market. So I would like to encourage everyone, we shouldn't be talking about ourselves alone or even the businesses that we are doing in a very small way. Let's think big. That's the only way. And think global. First, you think about the regions that we have. We are blessed to have 16 regions. Are we all marketing our product in all the 16 regions? So when you look at the regions alone, it's very encouraging. And I heard the MD saying that, well, to package what we need is an investment. And I'm sure when you approach the bank to take their facility, they will support you how to grow because it's a teamwork. It's a teamwork. So I think I would like to say that we should all encourage each other by moving from one end to the other, by getting ourselves right from, let's start. Let each one of us start. Those of us that we are not in business, I want to encourage everyone. Everybody here is an entrepreneur. And you think about long term, how you can add value, how you can package yourself, and how you can excel. And think about export mostly. Because this morning I was just looking at things like, look at us. Even in our own small way. When you go to Agbogloshi, look at the things there. How are they packaging it? How are they presenting it? How can one add value? The simple things. One person is busy trying to package very, very simple. Let's say that, well, even the way if we want to prepare from our own kitchen, the business we go through, you have to clean, you have to wash, you have to cut. Are some people taking the interest of looking at how people are going to package contumely fresh? Have we looked at that? And how are we going to add? Apart from that, we need to package tomatoes. We need to package ourselves. We package everything so that it will make our work easier from our own kitchen. And I'll say also that from the point of the global market, we have to look beyond Ghana, because that's where we can earn our foreign exchange. And if we are even the clothing exports, I mean, the whole lot, a list of things. But the greatest is you having the appetite and take your time, attention to details, calculate your things well. And I would like to encourage everyone here that in business, it's a teamwork. And I'm glad that today, being the UMB SME month, the bank is there to support us. Sometimes we need your advice, even how to go about it, how to package our business plan. I'm sure that the bank has all that to support us. So I'm looking at the global, but at the same time, we are looking at Ghana and beyond, and Africa. So let's all look at ourselves from a point of how we can grow our continent as Africans. I want to encourage each one of us how we can grow our businesses, because we all started from the very, very small beginning. I mean, we started from the tabletop, one import. And then it's like, how am I going to add value? Because I noticed that, I mean, in cable business those days, everybody was just like, you see one way or the other, they are pulling people's cables from their homes. And that's one of the things I said, I'm not going to get involved in that. What I would like to do, rather to start from the beginning. So let's all look at ourselves from a point of bringing in our core values by ourselves. And I would like also to encourage the small scale. If we talk about small scale, it's the tabletop, as I said, it's the tabletop and from our kitchens, from our homes, from our backyard. So much that we can do to encourage each other, especially in terms of women. Because when you look at the industry, it's all basically, let's say, the women. But the women can do more, and we can look after the pests better. We can look after the pests better. So let's add value and let's increase. Let's make sure that every month, at least, we know that, well, this month, our profits, we are not going to spend all. We are not going to spend the profit. We are going to add for the businesses, our businesses to grow. Because that's the only way. Because it's better you increase than to decrease. So let's look at it from a point of how we are going to increase our businesses rather than to decrease. And also look beyond Africa. Look beyond Ghana. And let's go globally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kate. That was very, very educative. She shared a whole lot with us. So moving on, Madam Adelaide Fring, Auntie Few. Can you share any specific obstacles you faced in terms of financial literacy through your journey in creating transgenerational wealth?
Good morning, everybody, and I'm happy to be with you. I want you to know that I am one of you. I still remain an SME, whether the banks like it or not. And my passion is to support women SMEs. So I'm glad to be here with you today. Talking about obstacles, there's no business that doesn't have any or didn't have any obstacles. But from the little you heard about me, I started very small. And that is what I want us all to do. That you start small, you dream big, but you start small. And you live the dream as you go along. We try to pick role models. I don't have a role model. All I have is my Lord. That's it. I don't have any human role model. But when we pick role models, we want to know how those role models became who they are, that we want to be like them. We don't look at that aspect of it. It's a big obstacle that SMEs face. I want to be like Phil. I want to be like Auntie Kate. Do you know the Phil story? Do you know the Kate story? we also have to build our own stories. Because in the next few years, I expect to see some of you sitting here and also telling us your story. For obstacles, a lot of us say that finance is an obstacle. And to be very sincere and honest, finance was not an obstacle for me. Because if I want it, I have to get it. And so the banks, they know that this is a difficult customer. But when I started, everybody's beginning is finance. You have some small working capital that you want to work with. But that working capital cannot help you grow your business. So obviously you need help. For people like us who don't have any family legacies, family wealth that we depend on, the only family wealth that we are looking at is the banks. So my first move was to go and see my banker. I don't want to mention names. Maybe the MD knows. And I asked that I needed some money, and like bring an collateral. And I asked the MD, at my age, did you have a house? Because we had all just come out of the university, worked small, the salary was so small, you are asking for collateral. My collateral is myself. Because I am prepared not to put you to shame. I am prepared to live my words. If you support me, I will support you. And I think for most of us, finance is an obstacle. But tell the banks, tell the relationship managers who come to you, I don't have collateral, but I'm ready to do the work. Can you help me build a collateral? This was when I was going to start work with Unilever. And they said, bring money. I said, I don't have it. I went to the bank. At that time, they needed just 500,000, and I didn't have it. My salary was about something less than 1,000 at that time, very small. And when I went to my bank MD, he said, Phil, are you sure you can pay this money? I said, yes, I will pay. Even the Unilever people knew that I could not get that money. So it's just a way of just asking her to go away. But my bank decided to support me. The only money I had was my salary going into that account. But I asked for, let's be bold and ask for what we want. Let's not fear any bank person who comes to you. They are there to help us, and they need us to grow, much as we also need them to grow. My main obstacle was finance, but I just ran over it, and I went to the bank. And they gave me the money, and I turned it round and turned it round. It's all about turnover. I turned it round, and when I said I'll bring it next week, it was there. I will send it, and the following week I'm there to take it again. So, my dear colleagues, I mean, let not anybody think that finance is an obstacle. It is not an obstacle. It could be if you decide to put yourself in some small share of me, I don't know anybody. You don't have to know anybody. We're entitled for help. And the banks are supposed to be there to help us. Well, you need 2 million. We can't give you 2 million. We'll give you 500. Take it. And move that 500 to a point where they will ask you to come for 5 million. The bank that was beginning reluctant to give me the 500,000. Now, if I go and ask for 10 million, they will give it to me. Over the years, we have decided to work together as partners. Take your banks as partners. They don't have a choice but to partner us to grow our businesses. Otherwise, why are we sitting here? If UMB is not ready to help us, let's all pack and go away. Because we are not ready to listen to lectures. We are here to do business, to see how we want to grow our business. And for me, it's growing of business. So we are not here to hear my story or hear their story. We all have stories. But the main reason we are here is to make sure that our stories will encourage UMB to support your stories. That's all. And for us as ladies, let's be bold. Don't think that, oh, as for me, I'm a small, the Medina woman. Where are you? When I started, I wasn't close to you. I was buying from people. I was a retailer. So don't worry. The sky is the limit. Just stay focused, is the word. Focus. Don't look at somebody. Your next door is filling the shop with trucks of, forget about it. You don't know where they are coming. Stay focused. Mind your own business. Know what you are doing. But at best, if you can't do anything, get somebody to help you. When I started my business, I employed a finance director. I didn't know much about finance. I mean, 1, 2, 3, and things we all know. But finance is different. Let's try and employ people who will help us grow our business. We sit in our shops and we are the managing director, the finance director, marketing director, everything. You can't. But use your financial director and learn. I haven't done finance, but I can beat any bank to it when it comes to finance. Because I learn, I read. So please, let's invest in the business by employing people who have what it takes to help us grow our business. You can't do it alone. You need somebody to help you. And when you employ them, you pay them properly, and you also pay yourself. Very important financial discipline. If you don't pay yourself and you pay your staff, they will steal because they know that all the other monies come to you. You have to be transparent. My finance director can calculate the profit that we make. I don't care. You will know the profit, but it is not yours. The only thing you, as the owner, should make sure that we are monitoring that profit. Let's be transparent. Let's get the right people, and let the sky be our limit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Adelaide. Auntie Phil, that was very, very insightful. I mean, it's important that as we start, but then there's also the need in terms of finance to develop ourselves so that no one can beat us to it. If we know our businesses better, it goes a long way to help us grow it and create wealth for future generations. I would like to kindly go on to Madam Faustina Adolfo Ajaga, First Choice Beauty Salon. She's joining us virtual. I believe she can hear us. Welcome once again, Madam Faustina. Okay, so we can't hear you, so if you can please unmute your microphone for us.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Really sorry.
please. Yes, please. We can. Welcome once again to this session. Okay, so
You are welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me.
All right. So a quick question. We know your business, 25 years of operating as First Choice Beauty Salon. Your story is well documented, but we would want you to share some of the challenges you faced along the way in developing financial literacy, and how did you overcome those challenges to get to the brand level First Choice is at now?
Okay, thank you so much, and good morning to everyone. Thank you for inviting me. For granted. First Choice, I'm the founder and the CEO of First Choice, and also in my hair collection. I have been in the beauty industry for the past 8 years. First Choice is 5. maybe 26 year, not that. I would like to share my story. I believe by the time I'm done, it is possible because I get a lot of people coming to me. Sometimes when they come to, especially where we are at centers, they come and they ask of their story, and I tell them, and they get so encouraged. So I believe my story will encourage someone. So I have been in the beauty industry for 28 years. I learned from top model salon incarnation. So I learned for 2 years, and after the 2 years, I helped them. I helped my boss for a year. I started Fresh Choice as I said 25 years ago. So when I was at top model, um, working, I think I saved a bit, and with the help of my uncle and my dad, I was able to rent a place at Dogo Junction, and I started. So that is where Fresh Choice started. Sometimes I get a lot of people asking, "Oh, you've done well. So how do you do it? Oh, you are doing so well. You have this, you have that." Some people will come to where I am now, Sprinter's branch, and when they enter, they would ask, "Oh, am I at the right place? Is it a church, clinic, or what?" And they tell them, "No, this is Fresh." And like, "Oh, okay, really?" So most of the time they will come to my office and talk to me and find out what happened because they don't expect like someone is going to do her nails, her hair, and they don't expect to come to a place like that. So when I get to tell them the story, they get so inspired. So as I said, um, I started as Zongo dancing and alone. I was actually alone doing everything. I was the one doing the, hair, taking care of everything, manicure, pedicure. I was doing, everything. But when I started, it was actually a struggle because where I was, it was always busy. But when I started, I didn't actually have customers coming to me, so it was really a struggle. I remember one day I was sitting in the salon myself alone, and I was just crying. I'm like, why? Why did I choose, to become this? So I even wanted to go back, but I think I had few people around that came. Sometimes they will come and encourage me to know that, oh, it is well, oh, it is well, and by God's grace, I was able to go through. So first I started picking up, I think after the third month, by God's grace, it started picking up. But after the third month, there was power crisis. Power crisis. I didn't have a generator. In fact, every equipment and the tools that I started with, they were all second hand, and I wouldn't even think of getting a generator. It didn't really but it happened, and I had to do something about it. So today I tell people that things would happen, but what we do about it really matters. So sometimes I will come and it's not today that you will know that it would, that there's light off, and maybe in the evening it will be okay or whatever. Those days I didn't know. You didn't even know when it's going to be over or when you are going to get light or whatever. But this is what I did, and I believe it's going to help or encourage someone. Okay, so I actually went back crying because I wasn't expecting that. But after I was crying, I was also thinking about what to do to solve the problem. So sometimes I would transport my customers. The customers will come to me. I don't have light, and I have to take them to probably a nearby salon, negotiate with the owners, and get them done. So they would allow me to dry their hair. After that, I would style, and I would give them part of them. We would share the process. So that is what I did, and because of what I did, I think I had few people coming to me because they know they so I will actually encourage everyone, encourage everyone listening to me that what you do about your situation is very important. You can cry, but after the crying, what you do matters. So that is what I was doing. So it got to a point that it wasn't that didn't actually help me. So I had to call my mother. My mother lived in Mpoko by then, so I called my mom, and she actually protected me from Mpoko. You can imagine that generator. I remember couldn't even take one drive. When you block the fire, you have to go and you have to take some time before it even works. But I didn't give up. I actually don't like that until everything was over. So at that time that I was trying to do something about what I was, people actually build that confidence in me, and they wouldn't go anywhere. They will come to Fresh Air because they know that when they come and there's a problem, I can solve it, for them. So that actually helped me. And I would also say, I also listen to my customers. Listening to customers is very important. That has really helped Fresh Choice to where Fresh Choice is today. So people would ask, okay, so why did you open all these branches? So I'll tell them I was listening to customers. They said, you listen to customers and you open this branch? Yes, because they were coming all the way. It got to a time that when they come, because it was just one shop, when they come, the place is full, and I have to find a way of making things work. So I rented another place, in Matarico, and it went on and on and on like that. So we were able to establish this because we listen to our customers. Listening to customers is very important. It really helped me. And I believe it will help all of us as business people, those who are about to start, and even for us still in the business, we still have to encourage ourselves to listen to our customers. Is really key. And also, I think when you got to after setting up the Mata Eco branch, things started getting better, and I think it got to a time that I had to decide to. I didn't even have a car, but people started complaining. People coming all the way from Tema and all that, they were started complaining. Oh, by the time we got to First Choice, it's late and blah blah. So it got to a time that I needed a car, but instead of buying the car, I had to use the money to rent a place at Sakumono. So that is what brought us to Sakumono. So we have to be very disciplined when it comes to decision making as business people. You are looking at the bigger picture. Instead of doing this, you have to do that. You understand? Decision making is very important. And sometimes as leaders, we think, oh, we have arrived and we're doing everything. Even if we can't do, we force ourselves to do, especially women. We are always trying to compete with other people, and you don't have the money. You just started, and you are using your money on other things instead of concentrating on what will make your life better. So um I will always choose making things better and looking at and rather looking at what would happen later from what I did, instead of just using what I have, and at the end of the day I suffer. When I started, I didn't even know anything about bookkeeping. I didn't know anything about it, like an accountant or HR or whatever. I was doing everything like what Granny said. I was actually doing everything myself. But it got to a point that, as my pastor would say, you have to expand to accommodate. So it got to a point that I realized I really do that. Instead of me trying to force and doing things myself, I had to bring in an accountant. I had to bring in we are doing this at First Choice because by God's grace we expanded and we needed to accommodate that expansion. So financial discipline is very important when it comes to this. Some people will come to me and say, okay, how you are not doing this? How come you are not doing this? How come you are not doing this? They are very important. But you have to understand what you want. The fact that someone did this or someone did that doesn't mean you should also do the same. So I would actually encourage all of us, including those who want to start, something, that you will hear, you will see, and all that. But at the end of the day, it's what matters. So you have this, and you have to analyze. You have to.
All right, sorry about that. I think we're having some technical
issues or challenges here and there. So we'll move on, and then once we get her back on, we continue our discussions. That's some experiences being shared with us. Financial discipline is very key if we want our businesses to grow. Okay, I understand Madam Faustina is back on.
Yes. So as I was saying, I think financial discipline is very important. You need to really, sometimes as leaders, especially women, I would actually talk for women because I'm a woman. As I was saying, as I said earlier on, we are always competing with other people. We see this and we want to get it. We see this and we want to get it. And at the end of the day, we are financially challenged and we want to go for a loan or we want help from other people. It is important that, like what Auntie said, that when you get where you can't do it, you have to always follow people, especially the banks. But the little things that we can do for ourselves are very important. So it is about what you can do for yourself. Do everything that you can do for yourself before you can, you really look elsewhere. Because you can go for the loan at the end of the day, if you are not disciplined, you use the money for yourself. You buy the cars and you buy the bags, you buy things that you are not supposed to buy. So I would actually encourage everyone listening to me, financial discipline. And also we have to work on our emotional, like emotions. Women sometimes become so emotional. So at the end of the day, if there is a problem, instead of you looking at what is the problem or getting your time to really understand what the problem is, you end up just doing things anyhow, and at the end of the day, you have done it and nothing has happened. So I would actually encourage people that when there is a problem, because it affects us in our finances, because you get angry easily, a little thing, you are angry, you are all over the place, you are not listening to anyone. At the end of the day, you realize you have been at work, you are there as a leader, but nothing good is happening around you. In your presence, the energy is so bad. And so it's actually not the right thing to do. We need to work on our, emotions, be emotional intelligent as leaders. When we do that, it will go a long way to also affect, the people that are with us. So I would help all of, or I would encourage all of us, to work on that. And I believe when we work on that, and a few things, discipline financially, and also understand things before we act would really help us. And I think when we are able to do that, this will be our limit as women entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Faustina. I had several questions to ask, but it looks like the first question to each of my panelists, they've already read my mind and answered all the questions, so I can't really even go on asking more questions. They've tackled all the key areas I wanted clarity on. But to come back to my panelists here with us, Madam Rashida, a quick one. In your view, what are the key financial skills and knowledge that you believe are crucial for women in SMEs to effectively manage their business and create wealth? Key financial skills and knowledge that we need that will help us effectively manage our businesses from your experience.
First of all, I would like to say a very good afternoon to everyone here. I think my congratulatory message to UNB is implicit in my outfit today. I didn't think about this as your colors. Sincerely, I just picked this yellow and dressed up. I didn't think that it was UNB colors. So that's to say that we are connected for life in business. They say for lack of knowledge, my people perish. In this case, for lack of knowledge, business perishes. I'd like to believe you may have gone through all the technocratic dynamics in business we're supposed to be understanding, as clearly put by Gifty, what we are supposed to do to understand financial literacy. But I would like to disintegrate my presentation to the standards of an average watch seller's understanding. So I would like to replace financial literacy to understanding money matters in business. What's the first reason why we operate businesses in the first place? For the money. I am sure there are many of us here who are guilty of saying, well, as for this work, me, I'm just doing it for the passion, not for the money. It's a lie. The primary reason is the money. God bless passion. You got to have passion for business growth, but you need to make money for business sustenance. If you do not understand financial money or money matters in your business, it's clearly tantamount to pouring water in a basket. You encounter financial leakages. And this is primarily the reason why they say women do well in business. Not because women are stingy, because women are meticulous. I would want to believe so many housewives or people sat here should be able to tell you how much their bag of rice is left with at home. I should be able to tell you that anyway. Even Fabuloso, that's supposed to be used to clean the home, I know the measurement. Oil, I know the measurement. So in reality, fast forward, when it comes to business, the absence of understanding the financial matters or money matters in your business clearly says the business is operating in darkness, like MD said to us. There won't be growth. There won't be internationalization. There won't be diversification. So understanding business matters gives us the capacity of budgeting. It's able to tell us that I have invested 50 cedis in a bowl of beans. How much should a large special go for? So the next time you come there, don't say it's expensive. It's because beans is increased. It gives us the power to negotiate. I'll tell you a story. This is off the hook. When I made my first 1 million in business, I went to the bank and withdrew everything home. I kept the money for over 5 months. I would want to believe financial technocrats are beginning to do the math already for how much I lost on a million for the period of 5 months as a result of financial illiteracy. If I understood this better, I would have known that the returns I would have had on each 90-day period would have been enough to even pay the small number of staff I had in my business. And that clearly would have been the clear logical reasoning. Business will grow. So in the absence of money, business can grow. Later in life, in my adult life, I became an entrepreneur at a very tender age. Later in my adult life, I was doing a calculation, and I noticed the 1 million did not even come from the business. It came from a savings account I decided to add business money to, which just made it high. So I did not understand my inflows. I did not understand what I was supposed to be budgeting for. I did not understand that in cases of business, sometimes it does not take a broke business to walk to the bank and say, I need a facility or I need a loan. But many of us, I would like to believe, will be guilty of saying, oh, as for Madam Issy's business, loans don't go on. It takes a smart business to walk into a bank. It does not mean you do not have the money. By financial literacy, you are able to understand that sometimes you can keep your money for other growth purposes and walk into a bank to help you to internationalize or to grow. We do also understand that one of the most important, I would like to say one of the imperative aspects of financial literacy is diversification. In business, we all aspire to grow. If you do not have money or make money, how do you grow? How do you branch out? How do you diversify? In cases of some of us who have quite a number of businesses under a single umbrella, the problem is that in the absence of your literacy in finances, you begin to mix up money. This is what I've been guilty of all my life as an entrepreneur until I took the bull by the horn to educate myself. If not analog educational purposes, I have spoken to people. I have spoken to people who have done it. I have spoken to people who have mastered it in financial engineering to ensure that what you actually make in your business is bigger than what you lose. So you're supposed to understand in some senses, they say CAPEX, OPEX. In my layman's senses, I'd like to say understanding how much you spent on a particular venture and understanding how much your returns were really makes business a healthy one. So there couldn't have been a better time to discuss financial literacy. When I started business, my most hated departments were the GRA, the tax officer, the banker. Bankers actually scared me. I said to myself, she's a lady and she's able to put all these figures together. Aside the fact that I can't possibly look at the money that does not belong to me in millions, I'll be jealous. And this is where we say competition is healthy. In this context, competition is healthy in business. Who says you shouldn't compete? Healthy competition is very important. On a monthly basis, there is no watcher joint I don't visit in Ghana. Rob Stone's watch it, Antimony's watch it. I'm doing comparative analysis. You can't sit back. So by the power of financial literacy, you give priority to your inflow. You give priority to the profit you're supposed to be making. So there couldn't have been a better chance but this. It's the reason why I bribed the bank with packs of watches, because I thought I needed to pay for this capacity building. So I would say it's really key. There couldn't have been a better time. I understand this is not the maiden edition, but I'll really be honored to be a part of this at all times, because business is money. And money makes business grow. Thank you very much.
Well said. In fact, you've said it all for us. You've ended it all for us. You are really, I would say, Auntie Fio and Dr. Kate are pioneers, and you are representing the Gen Zs. Yeah, you are representing the Gen Zs in SMEs. Thank you very much for the great insights you've given us. You went down to our level, taking the watches sellers case study and breaking it down for each and every one of us. Thank you very much, Hajia Rashida, sorry. Thank you very much for that. So last but not the least, I'll ask all the panelists one question, just one question to wrap it up for us. In your views, with financial literacy, the experience you've had, how do you see the future of financial literacy and capacity for women in SME? How do you see it? What areas or aspects do you think need further attention? That is whether the government side or institutions like us. How do you see it in the near future? So we'll take one message from each one of you and then we'll call it a day. Thank you very much.
I guess we've all have said that we can't grow our businesses without financial literacy. All the discussions that have gone on points at one thing, that financial literacy is a must. But I want to add that if we say financial literacy, you don't have to go to the Legon School of Admin to business to go and do accounting and you say I have financial literacy. No. Because most people have not gone to the university. And those who went to the university all did not do accounting and business. I am a science student, a quantity surveyor by profession, nothing finance about it. But we all know that you cannot grow your business without financial literacy. It doesn't have to come from you. And I keep saying, get other people to help you manage your business. When the tax lady was talking, I was also talking to the MP that ignorance is not an excuse for the taxman. So whether you understand it or not, when they come to you, you have to fight your way through. You go and bring them, they can do it to a limit. So she was going through keeping accounts, keeping the... I don't work on the computer. I prefer my calculator, my paper, and my pen. So when the report comes to me through the computer, I use the paper and the pen to do the calculation. It's not a crime that you are not a computer literate. It is not a crime. You don't have to be a computer literate to do business and to do it well. The basics of computer, yes. But when we start a small business and some small money comes, you go there and there's a big monitor in front of you, and we can't do anything. All we do is to look at it, and some of them are watching YouTube and all those things. And I went to somebody's office, big computer, I mean a big person, and he had to call the secretary to come and even put the computer on. So I said, well, then your secretary has all the information that is on this computer. So you are at a big risk. I don't want anybody sitting here to think that I can't do it. As for me, I didn't go to university. I didn't go to. You don't need to go to the university. You don't need to go to. When I started my business and I was in Mokola, they asked me, actually, they said, you're going to university? I said, no. Because I was even feeling shy that I was at the market with my degree. So it means that you don't need to have that high financial education and give yourself titles, MSc, this, PhD. It doesn't mean anything. What it means is that you know what you are doing, and you understand what you are doing, and you appreciate what you are doing. You love what you are doing, and you encourage yourself. One of my friends said, if you don't say I am, who will say thou art? You have to encourage yourself. You have to believe in yourself. But you have to learn. You have to learn to ask. Ask other people when you have an issue. Ask your bank. My firstborn, who is not a biological son, I made from the bank. I met him. He was my relationship manager. His firstborn was named after me. He comes to my house. He walks straight into the room, whether you are naked, whatever, he doesn't mind. I met him at the bank. Make your banker your friend. And please, our bankers, don't take our ignorance to be our weakness. We may be ignorant, but you need us. Help us to help you. I'm sure my brothers and sisters here from tomorrow will start taking the bold step. Don't fear any bankman. They don't have what you have. If you ask them to start a business, they cannot start. So let's enjoy what we are doing, and let's love one another. Don't envy anybody. Don't look at anybody's business. Mind your own business and grow your business. But to end it, I promised that I told the MD, I happen to sit on GRA board. So I'm promising that I will get GRA to meet the same team at your own convenience and to explain to you and to partner. We have been discussing it. The taxman can never be your friend, but when you have a friend taxman, you are safe. So I promise I will get through with Barbara and the rest, and we will get GRA to meet you. If you are in Medina, we'll get the Medina people to meet you, to let you know that the taxman is a friend. Thank you.
I think she said it all. The whole thing is a teamwork. We believe that we are here to work as a team. The bank, the entrepreneur, the private sector, the industrialists, it's a teamwork. We always say that we all have our gift, but our gift is to be focused and attention to details and take the bold step. As she said, don't be afraid to go to the bank. I go to the bank every day. They say, but madam, why are you coming? I say, I will come because I know that we are partners. So partner the banks. If you don't understand anything, let's ask them. They should have the patience to explain to us. You call your relationship manager, come in. What is the plan for the bank? What is it that they want to do? You plan according to their plan because you are looking at long term. And to invest your time with them is a teamwork. And let's sustain our businesses. Let's make sure that we are working with them for them to grow us, for us to grow them. It's a teamwork. Because they say, Madam, you can be at home. And I said, yes, even on my phone. But I want to come here because I want to find out what is going on. Because on your phone is me and you. But I want to see what is going on. Let's find out. Let's work with them. Let's listen to them and also make our own decisions. Let's have a long-term plan and work as a team. That our financial literacy will be nothing. We are moving on. We are looking at the next 10 years. How we're going to sustain our businesses with the banks so that the generations will come will see that our businesses is a teamwork. Thank you.
I think my two madams couldn't be more practical enough.
Hello. Yes, I'm here.
Auntie Fosti, hold on. I know Auntie Fosti very well. I've actually patronized her services for over 20 years. She's one wonderful person in business. Anyway, so this is a clear example of the fact or the recent saying that the future is female. The future is female in the sense that since medieval eras, women have always been frontiers of hard work. Like Madame said, on my part, at a national level, I would like to see a tweak in policy. When we wake up, there are quite a number of interventions in Ghana that are meant to support young business owners. But there's one thing missing. There is no financial literacy to maintain or to ensure that it is sustained. So there comes the saying that the average lifespan of a business or any venture anyone gets involved in is 4 years. But with the power or by the power of empowerment, of giving ourselves the capacity of understanding the money matters in our business, we can go beyond the 4th year and beat the forecast that has always been there. So businesses can be analog, they can be digital, you don't have to have all the certificates. I was trained as a very theoretical person when I came from the UK as a student. I got into investments, I got into consultancy, real estate, and it was all English speaking. You know, I decided to equip myself by enrolling myself in the business school right here of Legon. I could have done it another way, not to necessarily say. Even when I came from Legon, I was still struggling. I had to put my certificate down, wear my duku, and do things Mama Fio's way. I picked up a calculator, pushed aside my computer, and did some analog calculations. Up till now, that's what I do. So by the power of even subscribing to the bank to get alerts on your balances, you are financially being illiterate. You are giving yourself some equipment on the capacity of financial literacy. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the PhD way, like Madame said. You can understand it with the willpower as women, and God will bless our businesses. Amen.
Okay. So I think you've had a lot to hear as well from the entrepreneurs. So let me give you my perspective from the other side of the world. If you are not careful, you will talk about the technicalities, right? But I would say that know your story, know your numbers for yourself. And I say this from experience because I had a mom that was very industrial. She's also a trader. And I used to get involved in her financial. She would come pour all her money on the floor and we start counting. And after she will tell you that tomorrow I expect this customer to come, I expect the supplier to come, we'll take all those money out and see what's left. And that is basically what is needed. You don't need a lot of literacy or education to know it. And when you ask my mom how much she's making on this drum of oil, she can tell you. And I think that's just enough. So relate these from your own personal viewpoint. And even as women, I think what I would want to send across is that separation, because there's a kind of emotion that comes to especially household and all that. If you are not careful, you mix it all together and you have no idea how how much you are making, and that amount you are even taking for fees and all, what it means for the business. You can have the best of both worlds, right? That's what I'm saying. But know the story individually and how it's all coming together. So I think that's the message I have for you from a practical perspective as well.
Thank you very much. So last but not the least, we'll take the message from Mrs. Faustina Ajaga, who is online. So Auntie Fausti, over to you, please.
Yes, so I think they have said it all, but I would say that we have to be disciplined financially and also put our priorities right. Even if so, we have to be financially disciplined, put our priorities right, and always look at the bigger picture. So it all boils down to being disciplined. Even if you have a bank manager as your husband or whatever that you think there is an opportunity, you still have to work on yourself. Do it right. Do everything you can do. Learn how to keep things well. You don't just get up and always knocking on their doors. I want this and I want that. It is so good. It is very important. It will help the business to grow. But please, we should before we get there, let's look at what we can do first. Let's work on ourselves. Let's get better. Let's be disciplined. Discipline is actually key to doing business. So please, I'm encouraging everyone. I believe the sky will be our limit. Women in business, we actually have a lot of opportunities and all that, but we have to be disciplined in the things we do and put our priorities right. And I believe we will definitely get them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Auntie Fausti. So we've come to the end of our panel discussions. Very insightful. I believe our panelists, with their in-depth knowledge and experiences, they've said a lot to us. They've given us lots of insights to manage our businesses, to grow our businesses and take them to the next level. And this, as my chief executive said, is not the last of several clinics that we'll be having. Madam Fio has mentioned and confirmed that she's going to get us the GRA officials in the next SICA clinic to also educate us, open our eyes to how best we can manage our taxes and ensure that we create and save well. So once again, I would like to thank my panelists for making it today, and we'll always call on you. We'll knock on your doors to help us, partner us all through this journey to get our SMEs to that level. Thank you very much once again, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Another round of applause we do. So let me invite the face of SME, Charlotte, to join me. Excellent. No, so we do organize this, we call it SICA clinic. When you go to a clinic, we do diagnostics of you to understand what you're going through. If you don't visit your doctor frequently, you might now need to go with an ambulance. And we don't expect that we go in an ambulance. So thank you for coming today. These are a series of clinics you are going to have where we bring the experts, those who have really gone through, to help us so that we will not go to the same pitfalls that they also went through. So once again, thank you. I've picked a lot right from when we began, from our tax experts, where preparation meets opportunity, success is guaranteed. We have to now understand the various taxes that really place in our environment and how we can take advantage of it thereof. I trust you've picked something from there. Then we came through to understand the various panels and the conversation. And these are quite insightful. Things you will not get in the classroom, not Legon, not even Natford, not even with all your top universities in the world. But you've had it here. What next? Your relationship managers are endowed and empowered with tools that you use for budgeting, for normal cash flow management, not any high level, the basics. So going forward, they will come to you, to your businesses. Any support you require, let's reach out. Don't go through uncharted waters. understand what you are going to do. Ask, and let's begin to help you so that you can grow your business together. Remember, we are partners in this business. So once again, thank you very much. We are grateful. Thank you.
Okay, so if my boss is done, I'm surprised he said I should still talk. So I'll say something. I want to say thank you to all of you. I called almost all of you and pleaded, and by the grace of God, with the support of our MD, you all made it. God bless you. I have also learned that credibility is a key. So if you're an SME, you're a business owner, and you're coming up, you have to be very credible in order to even take advantage of supply credit. Sometimes you don't need a loan, you only need supplier credit. And the supplier credit will come to you when you are very credible. He gave you 1 CD, you return. He gave you 2 CDs, you return. He gave you that, and you return. So please, as we go about our normal businesses, let credibility be our guiding principle. And I'm sure we will scale up together. We want to say a big thank you. I am sure this is just the beginning for this year. We'll probably do something before the year ends again. As for women, we have a lot of programs within a year. We even have Mother's Day, International Women's Day. We have breast awareness, which is in August or so. So there are a lot of things lined up just to pamper you as a woman. And trust me, we are there to support that pampering. Thank you very much for making time and being with us. God bless you. Thank you very much. Hello, sorry. In UNB, our collection platform in terms of SME is a key. Like MD started by saying that you can sit at the comfort of your home and still get your money. Please, I am selling to you our Speed Pay app. The Speed Pay app is for SMEs, it's for businesses, it's for you. So kindly take advantage of the Speed Pay, sign up, see your relationship manager, sign up, and trust me, as you are sleeping, they will be working for you and the money will get into your account. It's a Momo platform, it's electronic platform. We also have the POS, where you can take an advantage where people will come to your shop and still use the card. If you think the charges are a lot, negotiate. Trust me, we will come to bare minimum. And anybody that came for the function will give you a discount to sign up. As for the Speed Pay, it's free of charge. There is no signing off fee. It is just the POS that there's a little fine print. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, yes.
It's a collection platform.
There's a collection. We want payment platform. Our MD will answer that.
Thank you very much. At TPO, we have recently launched a product that we are starting to come to the market with. It's cash flow lending. And it is targeted for businesses who don't have collateral. So we come to you and find out how your sales, your daily sales are, watch what your turnovers are, and lend you a certain percentage of the turnovers or a certain multiple of the turnovers on the basis that you will be banking the turnovers with us, so that we start to build trust at that level. So that's one of the things that we are doing to help. As you say, we start small based on your turnover. As it goes, then we grow with you as well. So if you are not aware of that, please make sure your relationship managers are telling you, because it is here and now. Yes. I know a lot of you still have questions, but please, as time is fast spent, please make sure we get the questions. We will provide the answers quickly, and if we have to do a workshop, we will do another workshop and tackle the questions, because we want to keep the conversation going. There's a lot of good things for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MD. Let's put our hands together for him. So please write your questions, give them to your relationship managers, and then we'll take note of the questions, answer them, and also factor them in the next sessions that we'll do. Time is fast spent, so MD kindly joined our distinguished guests on stage for the picture section. But before that, we'll have just 1 minute closing prayer. So Angela John, kindly join us, pray for us. Let's end the session, and then we quickly zoom into pictures. Let's all keep standing as she comes so that we end the session. Please, all UMB management team members, kindly also join us up on stage.
Shall we pray? Father, in the name of Jesus, we say thank you for a day like this. We are grateful for the opportunity to gather in this place. Father, we pray that even as we've shared, even as we've heard what we've been told, we pray that you grant us the grace to be able to run our businesses successfully and to run UMB successfully. We pray that even as we disperse from this place, you lead us to our various destinations safely. In Jesus' mighty name, I pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Whilst MD and team comes up, I'd like to remind all of us that this program has been properly sponsored by Media General, 3FM 92.7, which was streamed live on your TV, PwC, Alisa Hotels, Mawako Fast Food, Business and Financial Times, Pomisador, Glasgow Enterprise, Pan-African TV, in collaboration with Obasima, and of course, Alaji's wife. I'd like to remind everybody that the pack you see going around is the sumptuous wache submitted to us by Hajia. So that is a pre-lunch in advance for all of us. Please be reminded also that tomorrow we are holding our youth webinar. We'll throw the link for all of us to join. Those of us cannot join physically. Thank you once again.
You have worked hard, you strived and achieved, and now you're...
My name is Vida Asamane Kuganab, CEO of Luxury Restaurant. I think I joined UMB 2016, and UMB have really helped me service 100%. And for me, what I like about UMB is issuing a check, they'll have to call you. If they don't hear from you, they don't give the money to the third person. And for the past 2 months, I requested for a POS, and the POS is really helping me. And with the nature of my work, I don't really like handling cash. So with the POS, it's really helping me. And I'm so happy. I'm happy I'm part of the UMB family, and they are doing a great job for my business. Thanks to UMB. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Diane Jokito. And actually, I'm Canadian, but I've been in the country for over 25 years. I'm married to Daniel Jokito, and we live in Tomley. We have a school. The school is about 12 years old, and we have 1,650 kids and 125 on staff. We use UMB Bank. Not only the school account, but also a personal account. And we have a great customer relationship officer named Daniel. So if anyone is looking for a bank, I can certainly say that we got great service, 250%. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, it's been a nice day. I stand here talking. My name is called Bila Ramadan. I've been working with Alaji Fatu Caribbean Company for almost 4 years now. And I joined hands in UMB Bank. And as you can see, UMB Bank is one of the best trusted banks you can work with. So therefore, I urge every individual or every business partner to join hands in UAB Bank. They are the best transfer bank you can ever put your hands on. So I urge every individual, private sectors and all government sectors, those involved with businesses, they should involve with UMB Bank. It's the trusted and the best bank in Ghana. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Esenamba Ofori, CEO of Shakaina Glory Bakery. We are into baking and pastries. It's been nice, it's been wonderful working with UMB. We've been saving there for a number of years now. They are wonderful, great customer service. I urge all of you to bank with UMB and your business will grow. They've helped us in so many ways. We've taken facilities to grow our business, and I'm urging everyone to bank with UMB. UMB is the place to bank. Thank you very much.
So if you can meet the media general team here at the extreme right, they want to discuss how they can help you do your advertisement at a very low cost.